life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For a free quote, call 800-523-3771. That's 800-523-3771. 800-523-3771. Or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The U.S. Navy's Mideast-based Fifth Fleet announcing the launch of a new joint fleet of unmanned drones. The latest from the Media Line's Felice Friedson.
The U.S. military is assembling a drone force to watch over Mideast waterways. Based with the U.S. Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, 200-plus sailable and submersible drones will patrol a vast area ranging from the Strait of Hormuz to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait near Yemen. Iran and its terror proxy forces in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen are the primary concern. The range and accuracy of Tehran's arsenal continues to be honed. Recently, a drone that was launched into Israel by Iranian proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon successfully evaded multiple attempts by the Israeli military to bring it down, evoking strong concern in the Jewish state. I am Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com. Recapping the hour's top story, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Putin's military hitting targets all across the country. The assault coming by land, sea, and air as Russia pulls out all the stops. We'll be hearing from President Biden in a few hours. What can he do? Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, our military affairs analyst.
He's promised to pull the trigger on the SWIFT sanctions, which would basically make it difficult for Russia to conduct any international finance. That potentially is devastating. However, I believe that there's already some sort of mechanism in place the Chinese will collaborate on.
And China not among the many nations condemning Putin's war. Beijing, which has strengthened ties with Moscow in recent months, refuses to refer to the Russian aggression as an invasion or a war. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yep.
Welcome to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're having a delightful day. Kind of an interesting morning to wake up to.
Yeah.
As Russia invaded Ukraine last night.
Why? What happened? was something going on over there? They felt the need to go check on him, or?
It was.
I know. It's just. Ugh.
I'm not gonna lie. This. I was old enough in 1991 to remember when the U.S. invaded
Kuwait, right?
After Kuwait. Really Iraq more than Kuwait.
Right before the start of Desert Storm.
Before Iraq invaded Kuwait, yeah. And the only reason I remember dates and stuff because I was 17. I graduated high school in 91.
So that would make me 7, because I'm about 10 years younger than you. So yeah, I just based that on a decade earlier.
So I that's how I remember the year, because I remember when Saddam and Iraq invaded Kuwait, that was the summer of '90. And the only reason I remember is because my parents.
6 then.
It was during the summer because my parents.
Turning 6.
We took a vacation, and at the time my parents had a timeshare.
Ooh, dang!
Yeah, and their home location was the Poconos in Pennsylvania. That was kind of the home. But with timeshares, you trade them, and then you can go to other places around the world, actually, depending on who your deal is. So my parents had changed and upgraded to, or traded it to a place in Maine. So for 2 weeks, we went up to Maine, up to like Bangor, that whole area, Maine, and had a vacation. And during the vacations on the news is when Saddam moved in. So that's how I remember. The other thing I remember is from that vacation was S'mores Crunch had not been a cereal that existed in 2 years.
Right.
But we went to a mom and pop country store to get supplies for our, and sure enough, they had S'mores Crunch, which probably was from. I bought it and ate it.
I was like,
Oh, I was 17 and I loved it.
This is where it started, folks.
How did it start?
This is where it started, the love of eating weird stuff for others' entertainment and potentially your own.
That didn't start there. That just was a
continuation,
evolution, if you will. But
the moving forward thereof.
Yeah. So that's how I remember it. But then getting back to. I remember in January, February there at 91, because that invasion, and I lived in Maryland at the time, and that invasion started about 6 p.m. East Coast time.
Right.
And it was like right during what would have been the nightly news.
The big deal with it that I remember, and this is just in looking back and kind of watching some of the retrospectives, is that this was the first war, like, intro to war that we had 24-hour live news coverage, where basically we could watch the war nonstop from our living rooms. This was like the first time that had ever actually occurred, where we could just like in real time watch everything that was taking place as it was taking place, like the occupation and all that. So it was an interesting portion of history, but I was far too busy making radio shows in my room.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember all of that. I just and it was very reminiscent last night. But I will say this: it was a little more action packed. I know it's hard to say that when you're talking about war stuff, but like that invasion was a full scale, like, and you saw it all right there, the sky lighting up. Where this one was more of you hear reports in the background, and I remember. Last night when I was seeing some of the coverage, you'd hear like some booms in the background, but you weren't seeing like tracer fire or any of the stuff that you were seeing during the first Gulf War.
Maybe this is just me. Maybe this is the byproduct of kind of the world we live in. But does it seem like kids today are more connected with world events? Like, I'm just thinking about like specifically talking about invading Kuwait when I was a kid. Yeah. I don't remember. And granted, I grew up in small town, rural Oklahoma, so they did a good job of shielding us from it. But I was just a kid. I don't remember dealing. But I hear kids, young kids that I remember being their age talking about world events.
I would, to venture a guess, I would imagine, yes, they are more in tune.
I'm guessing just with social media and stuff, but
I don't know if they're more in tune. I think they're more aware of what's going.
Aware for sure.
Maybe not understanding all the ins and outs of it, but
that's my fear.
Just know something's going on.
That's my fear though, because I'm thinking from perspective of, like, for example, my kid who takes everything and turns it up to 11.
Yeah.
The example that I use is I was dropping her off at her mom's house a while back, and she heard on the radio the weather forecast talking about a fire weather warning.
Yeah.
And my daughter thought that fire would rain down from the sky, so she took things a little bit more seriously.
Sure, literal.
And granted, that's a unique example, but it just seems like kids are more aware of the dangers of society now.
I seem to remember some of that, and like I gotta be honest, like when I was at that age, I remember seeing a couple things that kind of like haunted me, and two of them. Oh, wait, this is a whole thing.
Yeah, I know we gotta go. You gotta stuff.
I would say I remember seeing the Nostradamus documentary it was on like primetime. My parents watching it, and I remember I was too young to see that because I I was nightmare for weeks thinking the world was going to end like 2 weeks from now.
I had those exact same experiences. Only difference, they were David Copperfield specials.
Those are Flintstones. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. We got a full slate of municipal candidates to talk with today. We're going to start here this hour. We're going to have representing Ward 2 City Council candidate Juliana Halverson is going to join us here in just a little bit and talk about why she's running for City Council. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we have Daryl Johnson going to be joining us. He's running for City Council in Ward 4, so we'll have a great little conversation with him. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to have City Councilor Judy Stubbs join us, and she's running for re-election in Ward 3, and she'll have a great conversation with us and talk about why she's running again and talk about, you know, what she's wanting to do as a city councilor again for another term here. So we'll chat with all of them during the show, plus we'll have all of your hourly features that include the news of the local and national variety, along with town hall business and everything else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, though, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front working its way through eastern New Mexico today, so we'll stay fairly cool with our afternoon high in the upper 50s, sunshine and gusty wind around 30 miles an hour. Pretty cold overnight, dropping to near 20 under clear skies, and then we're looking at mid-50s and fair weather on Friday, warming up, and it stays sunny for the upcoming weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. And currently, let me get to my weather. I was trying to refresh it 12 times, and it wouldn't refresh quite for now. See, now it's still the same. All right, currently 16 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity. It didn't feel that cold this morning. I mean, it's cold, but it didn't feel like 16 cold. But 16 degrees currently here in Roswell. Humidity is at 71%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny skies today. They say we're going to see 50. I hope so. That'd be nice. Nicer than yesterday. Winds will be out of the north today, 5 to 10 this morning, 15 to 20 for the afternoon. Clear skies tonight with an overnight low of 20 with northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, another partly cloudy day. Once again, highs right around 50 degrees here. Winds will be out of the northwest 5 to 10 this morning, 15 to 20 for Friday afternoon. Friday night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 24 with southeast winds at around 5 to 15. And then for your weekend, smidge warmer, mostly sunny, 56 for a high Saturday, and then mid-60s, 64 and sunny on Sunday. And then we're back into the 70s. Ooh, like we might even be pushing 80 by midweek and next week. They're saying 70 Monday, 73 on Tuesday, 77 on Wednesday of next week. So a little cooler next couple days, but warm temperatures on the way here. All right, it is 7:15. Let's go ahead and take a commercial break. It's a larger break because it's political season, and so we're going to take a commercial break. And then we're going to be joined on the other side by Juliana Halverson, candidate for City Council, representing Ward 2. That's coming up on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Honey, did you see the story in the Roswell paper recently about how Dennis Kintai and the city council want to spend $61 million on new baseball fields?
Yep, talk about out-of-control spending.
Yeah, they say it's a field of dreams, more like field of debt.
Definitely. Kintai and the council don't have their priorities straight. Remember, they wanted to spend $35 million on a new public safety complex. Thank goodness over 80% of voters rejected that boondoggle.
And meanwhile, crime has gone up drastically over Kintai's last 4 years in charge.
Yeah, and Roswell's roads are a mess. Have you seen the sorry state that streets like North Garden are in? Potholes everywhere.
That's why we need Tim Jennings for mayor. Tim will control spending, hire more police officers, and fix our roads.
Let's send a message to City Hall that Roswell can't afford to spend $61 million on building new baseball fields. Vote Tim Jennings for mayor.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
Buying a good, clean, reliable pre-owned vehicle is just about the smartest thing you can do these days. But how do you know it's good, clean, and reliable? Well, just visit your friends at Roswell Ford. Here at the Tailgate Nation, we have over 100 outstanding pre-owned vehicles ready to serve you and your family for years to come. How do you know? Because we put everyone through a rigorous 139-point inspection, and we give you a 3-day money-back guarantee to be sure it's right. These are vehicles you'll be proud to own and thrilled to drive, like a 2015 Ford Fusion Hybrid for just $11,980, a 2017 Ford Escape for just $15,980, and a 2020 Ford Explorer XLT for just $39,980, plus about 100 more that are just as good. Sure, you can get a used car just about anywhere, but you'll only find a selection like this at Roswell Ford. So don't take chances. Come by and see us at Roswell Ford, the tailgate nation at the corner of 9th and Main.
Have you ever wondered how prayer works? If you answered yes, you are most likely like the rest of us. Prayer certainly is not to inform God, the God of the universe, about personal matters in your life. After all, He already knows what's going on. He made you. You don't have to pray to gain God's acceptance either. He loves you, and we know this because Jesus died for you. So why do we pray? For starters, the Father wants to hear from His children. In my family, I often know what's going on with my children, but I love to hear their voices in my ears. Have you ever been stressed over life or anxiety that no person can help with? Well, prayer is good for that as well. There was a guy named Paul who wrote to a church telling them not to be anxious about anything but to pray. He told them that the peace that they could not understand would guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So whatever's going on, whatever's happening, just pray. Give it a try.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at RoswellUFOMuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
Wakefield Oil Express has the highest quality service in Roswell, with a 17-point full-service oil change that includes a full wash and vacuum at their car wash. You won't find a better deal. They also offer full synthetic oil changes, fuel and cabin filter replacements, and will even check your battery. Their tunnel wash isn't afraid of dirty vehicles. They have the best value wash in town with free vacuums. They even offer wash passes that can be used for multiple vehicles. Next time you need your oil changed, go to the fast and efficient Wakefield Oil Express and let them earn your business. 3204 North Main, Roswell.
Juliana Halverson is committed to Roswell. She wants to improve our public facilities while keeping our taxes down, attract more business to Roswell, and she wants our city to be safe. People say a lot of things to get elected. With over 35 years of community service, Juliana Halverson has the experience to get it done. Let's elect someone that has a proven commitment to our community. On March 1st, vote Juliana Halverson, City Council, Ward 2.
I'm Juliana Halverson, and I approve this message.
Time to double up and save at Roswell Honda.
Double your refund.
That's right. Roswell Honda wants to double up your tax refund up to $4,000 towards your next vehicle. And with clearance prices across the lot, you can walk in, double up, and drive away today in a 2014 Yukon for just $379 a month, a 2014 Civic for just $249 a month, or a 2017 Escape for just $199 a month. Zero down, no payments for 4 months, free AirPods with a test drive, and double your refund.
Time to double up.
On now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit RoswellGuy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, RoswellGuy.com. Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning, Juliana Halverson.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've had you on a bunch of times, with between Walker Aviation, Main Street Roswell, and many of the organizations that you were involved with. But today Juliana joins us as a candidate for City Council, representing Ward 2.
Yes.
So, well, first off, not that you don't have, I know enough to know that you got a pretty full plate with everything you're going on, being involved. So I guess question one is, all right, why did you decide to add more to your plate and decide, I'm going to just run for city council now, too?
Well, I've been involved with so many different organizations for over 30 years, and the relationship with the city's been wonderful. And I've just seen those relationships with so many different organizations, not just the ones I'm, personally on the board with, just start to deteriorate. And I think that's hurting our community.
Gotcha.
Because, we need a better quality of life. We're losing police officers and fire people when they get trained, they leave because of the quality of life.
Yeah.
And it's just important that we have events and these organizations that do things for the community.
Sure.
So
really, you're just seeing that, because of that, it's like, what, I'm involved in so many organizations, and it seems like that relationship, with the city and these are kind of souring a bit. And you're right. Unfortunately, without that good relationship, it's really hard to make things happen. It's just,
that's right.
Because
we've always had a good partnership with the city, and so I just want to keep that going.
Sure.
I'm just saying Main Street Roswell, because that's the biggest thing I'm involved with. But, Walker Aviation Museum too now. But I did have to resign from Main Street Roswell's board to run for office.
Gotcha.
So that freed up some time, but I'm still volunteering a lot. I don't want to just leave them, because they do so much for our small businesses in the community here.
Well, and it's even not so much just with organizations officially, like even just events that you're not technically associated with, that you just show up and support, taking pictures or promoting and any of that kind of stuff.
Any nonprofit that asks for help, and I'm blessed to work for an employer that sees the need for the community, programs.
Yeah.
So everything's been great. I still can help everyone, not every nonprofit, that asks for help.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things that I always look. It's like you say you're off one board, but she's got 37 things that's going on here. So let's talk a little bit about the city council. Obviously, you've got vast experience knowing how the city operates just through the various organizations you've gone through. What about the experiences like doing the minutia of, because there's a lot of crunching numbers and a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Your day jobs with Pioneer Bank. Talk about experience there and kind of the budget side and all the knowledge side that you kind of have to have being a city councilor.
That I will have to learn more on. Just the ins and outs of being a city councilor. And I'm willing to learn, because people who know me know I'm not one to sit back. I do take action and try to learn new things all the time. So I'm up to, whatever the job entails, because I do my research. I don't just come in and say, well, and I do my research. I go to meetings. I look up things, so.
Absolutely. And so, that's kind of like anyone here. And I wanted to start, I usually start off, and I forgot to do this with you here, but city council municipal elections, this is a different animal. This is not like state, national. These aren't quote unquote professional politicians that are running for these offices. These are the people that you go to church with, the people you go to the store with, you see at the store, all that stuff. So first of all, thank you for doing that, because win, lose, or draw, the people that are running for these offices, your opponents included, they care about the city.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
And that's what I let people know. If I have 35 years of volunteering, God, my husband and I grew up in Scouts. Mm-hmm. He was a Scout, so we just continued. Since we got married, we've been volunteering all over the community. I have a passion to make Roswell better. And I'm hoping this is just another step I can take to fulfill that,
Absolutely. So let's talk like issues and things. Like right now, what's some of the biggest issues you think that the city has that we need to work on as a priority?
Yeah, like I've talked to several small businesses. It took 2 months for one just to get an inspection. One of them that opened, it took like $100,000 more than they have other locations in other communities to open here, and it took longer, and it was such a hassle. So we're hurting our small businesses. We're hurting our small businesses at the Civic Center when people want to cater. You have an event there, and they do a good job. The people that are there now, the chef and everything, it's good food.
Sure.
But if Peppers or Martins or someone wants to cater it, they can, but it's a real big hassle. They're not allowed to use the kitchen. They have, so.
Create some flexibility there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's just a lot. And then, like I said, the police officers and the firemen, they're getting we pay for them to get certified, and then they're leaving because of better pay and quality of life.
Gotcha.
So my big thing is the quality of life. We need the organizations. We need to work together, and that's important.
Sure.
To have programs and events. And I don't want the city to pay for events, but I think our tax dollars go to these services like road closures when the state fair happens and stuff, but they charge these organizations. So organizations like the Walk for Hope, it can't happen anymore. And that was a huge event, and they do so much for our community. I had a gentleman come up to me. He does the Walk for Alzheimer's, and he said the same thing. They're the money that would go back into the community that they raise, they're actually having to pay for services that our tax dollars paid for.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, and so I mean, when like you said, that there's something there. So So do you think it's a matter of just logistics here and getting? Is it policies that you think are kind of preventing these from happening? Money? I mean, is that the big issue?
Yeah, I think it's more policies.
Okay.
I think we just need to sit down and work together. Come up with some kind of budget or something to help because. Again, our tax dollars already pay for the services that they need. So, this isn't popular either, but, they're going to start selling cannabis, which I don't agree with, but it's going to happen, and you can't stop it. But, we're supposed to be getting a windfall of money for that. So, they could use that maybe for infrastructure and working to help, put on events. Because, the biggest complaint you hear in Roswell is there's nothing to do. Well, if you're not working with these organizations that actually host these events, again, and you do need to stress, I don't want the city to pay for the events.
Sure.
But I think we need to have these events with these organizations just throughout Roswell all over.
Sure.
And the city should just be supporting those.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you're right when we talk about and this is kind of an argument we've had, and I mean obviously you're hearing in the because in this municipal election we're seeing a lot of stuff coming out at the various races here, but a lot of stuff talking about the aquatics and recreation center. You're hearing stuff about baseball fields and all this.
It's getting nasty, and I hate that part of the politics.
Sure. But like the aquatics and recreation center, I mean, do you think city's pretty spot on with some of that, or you think there's it was good and bad at the same time? I mean, what's your thoughts on some of this?
I think it was good and bad. I was excited when they first opened. I went there and I used to swim at NIMI all the time. So after I go swimming at NIMI, I take a shower, wash all the chlorine off. Well, there was no showers, no changing rooms, nothing at the new aquatic center. There was one shower. I take that back, but it's in the hallway to go to the pool, and it's not private. So there's some things that I probably wouldn't have agreed to, but then again, I wasn't involved with that. And I think they did try to do a good job.
Sure.
So it's interesting, that whole thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Kind of like I'm guessing is you wish they would have maybe logistically did a little bit more planning there on some of the amenities.
I think Carlsbad's, you could see what other communities did.
Gotcha.
And that's what I think if I make city council is I'm going to rely on other communities. I'm going to talk to them, see what worked, for them, even with the small businesses.
Sure.
Because, we need to support us. That's what we do with Main Street Roswell is to build a vibrant downtown. But as city councilor, it's going to be the entire city, you got to worry about. So.
Sure, absolutely.
And we need jobs, you got to have jobs and you have a better quality of life. You have more jobs and more happy people, and then you have more events and more businesses come to town. So.
Well, let me ask, we kind of talk about negative here. Let's go to the other side. What's something that you're like, city really got this right. I want to make sure we throw more time and investment into these programs and things. Is there some things that you really like that they're doing? Yeah,
one thing they started recently was the downtown cleanup program. So they have a crew that actually goes downtown and clean up. Jim Burris with the parks, he's always, doing a wonderful job. And that's where the partnership with the city is so important. When we have the flower pots downtown, and we do have Community Planting Day coming up in April too, so people can put that in there. I don't have the date yet, but keep an eye out on the Main Street page.
Keep a bee in your bonnet on that.
But, the city will move the pots if we need them moved. If we see graffiti or anything, we can tell the city, that they have the fix-it form.
Gotcha.
Which is good. And, you
so streamlining some of the reporting things and stuff has been a good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's a good thing. And then, they did do well. Their YouTube channel, they put information.
Sure.
Johnny Hector, and he does a great job.
Yes, absolutely. So really, that side of communication, they're doing really good on and doing some of that.
Yes.
Cool. And so embracing some of that technology and allowing basically the community to at least understand what's going on where and with what. They're doing a good job with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Good deal. Very good. Do some more of that too.
Yeah.
obviously, because your involvement in the community, your family, I mean, your husband, longtime police officer, judge,
yes,
scouting. You've spent a long time in this community. Know many people in this community. Talk about that side of your campaign, because obviously that's really we have the largest city council in the state.
Yes,
arguably. Bringing that with it, probably the most diverse board in the state, because we have such a large board.
Diversity's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of personalities there, and a lot of 10 different opinions there. Talk about that side, working with people that you sometimes you're probably not going to agree with and things. Talk about experience there and some of that side of being a city councilor.
Well, and people that have worked with me for years, they know, if I don't agree with you, I can have a civil conversation. We can try to work things out. And, you both give concessions to come to a final agreement.
Sure.
The neatest thing is knocking on doors. We've knocked most of my ward, almost all of it now, and I see people I haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
I see people from church. Oh, yeah, we remember you. And it's so much fun just catching up with these people, and getting back in touch and, just hearing what their concerns are.
Sure.
And stuff. So I'm grateful for the time I've had in this community. And
Gotcha.
I just think it's great.
Good deal.
So.
Let me ask this, a Ward 2 perspective here. Do you think there's some issues that are kind of unique to Ward 2 right now that I mean, obviously, we're a small city and a lot of things there, but when you're knocking and visiting with folks here, I mean, are there certain issues that you're seeing that's kind of universal or just something that's common between the people you're talking to?
Just the biggest complaint, it's really funny, it's strange, is, crime, obviously. Mm-hmm. But there's so many streets, I guess, people use as like racetracks.
Gotcha.
And even yesterday, I goes, I don't know how many times I've almost been hit just trying to pull in, So that's interesting,
sure.
though. Yeah, and then the crime,
Yeah.
So there's things, I don't know, you've seen the Nextdoor app or Facebook. People go on there and put they share.
Yeah.
And it's great. So if they have video of someone on their ring cam, this guy tried to break into my car, then they share that information. And that goes all over Roswell, the Nextdoor app. But I think, the crime problem is a problem.
Yeah.
But there is no Facebook page for Neighborhood Watch. And the lady that runs Neighborhood Watch, she does a great job. Like with the Main Street Roswell Stakeholders page, if someone passes funny money or someone, is shoplifting, they share that information. We need a citywide
Gotcha. Something
program
more
like that.
Official, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so people know, like if there's a rash of crime in a certain block, the police can say, hey, here's what to look for, here's how to report it.
Yeah.
And people can, then get the information. Because a lot of people they'll call 911 for something minor, and I don't think the police officers need, we're shorthanded already.
Sure.
Because the community wants to help each other, and I think that's a great way for them to do so.
Give it allow them to help in a constructive way versus...
basically a neighborhood watch online.
Sure.
With technology now, you can do pretty much
Absolutely.
anything that.
And especially with even more technology, a lot of people having the Ring doorbells and those kind of things. And I've seen more and more of people saying, do you know this person? And they see someone kind of looking kind of shady, wander around properties and things like that. Yeah, so basically...
Yeah.
Maybe use a official city organized version of that where someone's constantly monitoring it and doing it, like you said, maybe through Neighborhood Watch or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That way people stay off the police page and,
Sure. And then also, I think that will also give, because let's just face it, the internet is great and horrible all at the same time.
It's the downfall of our society.
And if you do it through something like you said, Neighborhood Watch or something, at least people can go there trusting that, okay, this isn't just hearsay. This is credible information we're getting put up here, or just it's not rumors or people with agendas or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
you still get the few, I'm sure, that just take it over and try to give false information. Some people just like to scare other people. But,
sure.
So.
So let's talk big terms here. Like if you, I always say that if you're a mayor for the day or that kind of thing, but like. As your next, say, 4 years here as city council, 4 years from now, where do you hope to see, in Roswell? Like, what would be your perfect scenario of things that have been changed 4 years later here in Roswell?
Well, I'd like to see, all the downtown merchants full. I want to see more people just walking downtown. There's a lot of people who live here never even walk downtown.
Sure.
Just businesses in general. I want to see business growth. Job growth, and then there's already new housing going up. I know Kevin Meaver's been posting.
Yeah, he was
a lot
just on yesterday talking about some of the growth around town. Yeah,
that helps too. But the more we grow, because Roswell's been stagnant so long, I just want to see more growth.
Sure.
The positive growth. You know, the Ascent Aviation, that come in, and that's just amazing.
Sure.
That's going to be great. And there's a meeting tonight, I guess, because I don't know why this vote has to be made so quickly, but that seems a little strange to me. But
yeah.
At the tenant meeting, they said they're going to hold off till the new city council comes in, but this one just had to be rushed, and it's just...
You thinking there's some...
yeah, I don't know what's going on. Again, I don't know enough about it. All I know is what I read in the paper.
You have questions.
Yeah, I have questions. What I saw was what I read in the paper.
Gotcha.
So, and I'm sure a lot of people out there have the same question. And it's a problem. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I don't know because I don't know enough about that.
Sure.
But, there's meetings today that I think we'll hope to learn more answers to those questions.
Cool. And if not, when I see the mayor next, I'll be sure to ask him here on the radio. And
but
talk
for
about
Roswell, we need growth all around. And I think, there's potential there.
Sure. What's like I know I've heard a lot of people talk roads. People say roads in here. What's been kind of your experience with people talking about? I know you mentioned that people, abusing the roads.
Yeah.
But as far as were there a lot of people in the ward too, kind of saying, you know what?
Yeah.
A lot of potholes, a lot of work needs to be done.
Yeah, just knocking on doors.
Yeah.
Even in Ward 2, everyone says all the roads are bad down south. Well, they're pretty bad up north too.
Sure.
All over Roswell. And like the biggest complaint is, why is Atkinson still closed? You know, but I found out it's because of the water pipes.
Sure, if one thing begats another thing, and infrastructure.
Yeah, and then getting parts
happen.
is hard, and it just everything just takes longer.
And there's nothing you do about that. That's not political. It's just the way of the world. Sometimes it's no different in your home when you do a home project and you think, oh, that'll be easy, and then you peel back a layer of that onion, and there's 12 more issues that pop up. That's just life.
And that's where we need to figure out where we can get money to. Because that's the problem. When you fix the road, then you find out the water pipes are bad, and you've got to have a budget for that kind of stuff. And we've got to figure out where that's going to come from,
Absolutely. So, as far as getting involved with your campaign, things like that, I know we're less than a week away here.
Yeah.
Thank God for some, and I'm sure all yourself and every other candidate.
I'm just so grateful. It's only like two months of campaigning, not 2 years like for Congress.
It's like, what do you look forward most to? Wednesday of next week.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Taking the day off, but that's when I'm going to be picking up signs everywhere,
But as far as getting involved with the campaign, is there still volunteer needs and things like that? Are you still out knocking doors and dropping off signs and doing all that stuff?
Yesterday I was knocking on doors. I'm out of signs. So, we printed like 350.
All right.
And I didn't want to print more, but,
I get you. Yeah.
It's a good thing, I guess, so.
Yeah. Well, and I'm curious about that, that side of things, too, because that's a unique scenario, too. You look at the other elections.
Yeah.
And we're just you and I talking now. But, you look at anything that's, a commissioner on up, a partisan race.
Yeah.
Then you start getting into war chests and things like that, where parties are backing people and want more money. At this level, none of that's really is going on. It's municipal election. There's no party affiliation. So really...
It's nonpartisan.
Yeah, so really the money either comes out of your own pocket or if you have a campaign that raises money for some of that.
And I've been getting a lot of donations. I'm very grateful, but when people give me donations, I don't ask them, who else have you given money to?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't do things like that,
And I was just curious, how is that side of running the campaign and being
Bonnie
the
Brand,
money
my
side?
treasurer, she's done an amazing job just going out and getting money for me. I've had so much support from so many different people in the community that have been, sending emails and reaching out. So I've been blessed.
I was just curious because I'm like, because I always think about that. I was like, do they, does something? And I'm sure each person is different because it's grassroots. There's probably one person saying, no, I don't have any of those people. I'm doing it myself. Or and then maybe the mayor race clearly.
Yeah.
There's some money being invested in marketing on
I don't have that
multiple
kind of budget.
sides there.
Yeah.
But I was just curious. I was like,
yeah, I've been blessed. I've been really lucky.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal.
And it's a small community, so you get a lot of people that give you $100 because then it's not reportable, so then their name doesn't come out. So
sure.
I get a lot of people. We have mutual friends and everything. They don't want to offend someone, and
sure. Yeah. Well.
And I honor all that.
Again, it's a small town.
Yeah.
It's municipal election. Next Wednesday, you're going to go to your Wednesday church services and see the same people that you're seeing. So you're right. Yeah. That's the point I'm saying. We can do all this and be civil.
Yes.
Because I truly believe we all want the same thing. Maybe not how to get there, but we all want to be happy. We all want to live in a good community.
Yeah.
We all want to prosper. We all want to have opportunities for a great future for our children and our next generation of family members. We all want that. We just don't agree on how to make that happen per se.
And I've been staying off all the negativity on Facebook and everything. And, win or lose, I'll still be out there, volunteering and doing what I did before.
That's why I was like, does anything change, win or lose for you after this? Like, Wednesday morning, whether you're city councilor or not, you're probably going to get up and go to your meetings and go to your
still help the
events and things like that. And, So I got to ask you, what do you love most about that? Because you're involved in everything. What is it? Is it an enjoyment? Is it is it just a panging like I need to do this? I mean, what is it that drives you?
Yeah, it was the way I was raised, and then I married John, and he thought the same thing. And then we raised our girls the same way. When you live in a community, it's important that you support your community.
Sure.
You mean when the girls were little and, it snowed, we'd go down and shovel all the widows', snow, driveways.
Sure.
Because that's what you do
just
for
the right
neighbors.
thing to do.
Yeah, at Christmas we give their neighbors, goodies and stuff. And some people are like, I didn't ever hear of that. But that's the way we were raised. We'd bake cookies and give them, to the neighbors and stuff. But John and I had the same vision. You just help the community, help it grow.
Yeah.
And the feeling you get from helping other people, and, maybe it's purely selfish reasons, but I feel really good when I...
Gotcha.
And we have the volunteer program at the bank. And what's interesting about that is a lot of those people have never volunteered, and now they started helping. One of the ladies brought her little cousin the other day when we did the downtown cleanup. We took down, the alien hat lights and everything because it's time to take those down.
But unfortunately, I'd like to keep them up, though. It's kind of neat at night when they have them.
Yesterday she told me, she goes, I was almost in tears because he said that's the best day he ever had in his life, and it's things like that, it's just, I think we always ask for volunteers. I think if people come out and they realize how important it is to help your community, because it's really neat when you do like the planting day, then the people that come out and, a lot of people in the community come out and help. They bring their kids, and their kids help plant. The Girl Scouts come, the Boy Scouts always help
and
too.
And you're planting, pardon the pun, but you're planting those seeds for that.
Then they drive down the street and they say, oh, I did that. Then they feel this sense of accomplishment.
Sure, and ownership in it.
Yeah,
a little
and
bit.
ownership in their city. And it's important, I think, that people feel that. And,
absolutely. I completely
take advantage
understand and
of
agree
that.
with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say get involved in stuff. I've always, my mantra's always been on this show. I don't, we have, I'm just going to say, roughly 50,000 people that live here. I'm going to say, we'll just go with the weird numbers here. Half of them are adults. We'll say that. 20 and 25,000 are adults.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. Pick one, every one of these adults pick one thing they're passionate about. I don't care if it's pets, youth sports, domestic violence, whatever your passion is, homeless, whatever that is, find it and get involved that way. And if everybody, even if it's small things like making a $50 donation every month to whatever these organizations.
Do what you can.
Yeah. Whatever it is, every little bit helps. And if everybody did that, I would imagine we would see a lot less need in this community.
I agree. And supporting the small businesses. Mm-hmm. I think it's so neat. You have, all these new small businesses, drinks and chill, and you have the freshly squeezed and then that new hot bev.
Yeah.
But, you need to support all these small businesses because, they're going to make Roswell better.
Absolutely. And to be honest, and this is, we talk this through Main Street all the time, a better shopping experience 9 times out of 10 for most people because the mom and pop business owners are experts in the product in which they are selling or offering.
Yeah.
They might not be able to do your taxes or do something, but they know the product in which they are, selling and everything. So if you're coming in looking for said product, they're going to know a lot more than when you ordered online or went to the big box store. Personalized service, customized gear. I mean, there's so many advantages to visiting the local mom and pop store. Outside of more of your dollars stay here in town, too.
Yeah, because you had a formula at one point. Yeah. Just how much of the local
70 cents
dollar.
here and 30 cents here. Yeah, I don't remember the numbers, but it's pretty significant.
Yeah. So it's just, and there's so many unique shops and unique items, and people in Roswell don't always visit the downtown shops, and I recommend they do. And there's new shops opening up, like Marty. There's one that empty building that had the murals.
Yeah.
There's a new furniture shop in there, too. I mean, there's all these new shops downtown.
Sure.
And they all have unique items, and it's just...
Make sure you visit the next First Friday. That's a good time to see...
and nonprofits can come out and put up their booths, too, and they can let people know what they're doing.
That's next Friday, isn't it?
Already.
Yeah. And next Friday's next First Friday. Yeah. make plans to attend. We'll get Molly in and we'll talk all about it here. But yeah, absolutely. We're about out of time, but I want to give you an opportunity to anything we missed, any area we didn't cover that you wanted to make sure.
So. I just want to encourage people to go to the finance meeting today at 3 if you can, or it'll be online because they do them
Roswell
online.
nm.gov is the website. You can go. There's a go-to meeting link to watch it.
Or just go to YouTube and do a search for
they got the YouTube channel.
Because sometimes it's hard to find the links on the city's website.
Yeah, especially if it's not the city. If it's the main city council one, that's usually right there. But
but they're having a special meeting
meetings
at 5 o'clock, I guess, after the finance meeting. And so I think learn more about what's going on. Because Ascent Aviation coming is a really good thing.
Absolutely.
Just the jobs they're going to bring, the salaries they're going to bring. But I
think that airport really is our linchpin. I think we finally, years now, have finally said, you know what? We got something here. We should do something about it. And we're finally, and it's not just the city. We got multiple entities that are kind of on board to let's make something out of this airport. And I think this Ascent is one of those pieces in the cog of the big puzzle to make that goal happen here.
Yeah, so. And the point with that is, the tenant meeting where they gave eviction notices to so many different, there's already businesses out there like Dean Baldwin and Aircel that already, hire so many people and they provide so many jobs, but they were given eviction notices and the vote on that won't be, the financing, the raising the rates won't be until the next city council's in there. They decided to extend that. And I don't understand why this vote today is not doing that too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If anybody wants more information or wants to reach out and have questions, what's the best way to do that?
Halversonforroswell.com.
Okay.
They can see my bio, learn more about where I stand on the issues, because, I'm open book.
Sure.
Transparency, and then they can contact me there. I also have a Facebook page. So,
good deal.
Yeah.
And, of course, if you see her out and about town, she's all over the place. If she's not busy at the moment.
It was funny the other day, a lady called and I answered the phone. She goes, "Why are you answering your own phone?" I'm like, "Because it's important to me."
Yeah.
You don't know what to talk
I ain't got no one else to answer.
I'm like, this is a city council race. I don't have my campaign managers and stuff. It's just interesting. I thought was like, but it is important to me to talk to people.
Yeah.
That's why I've been knocking on doors too. It's
absolutely,
and I've been enjoying it. I just thoroughly enjoying talking to
visiting
these
and
people.
things. How, are people receptive now? In the day and age we live in, is there a lot of people like crack the door like go away, or is it?
Most of them crack the door because they all have dogs.
They don't want to keep the dogs from getting out. Yeah, I know that.
But probably 95% of the people are so positive. Good. It's just wonderful. And they're like, "Oh, I can't believe you're knocking doors." I'm like, well, it's important.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I like talking to people. So.
Awesome. Well, win, lose, or draw, thank you for stepping up. Thank you for throwing your hat in the ring here and throwing yourself out there. And obviously, thank you for everything you do for the community, and we'll continue to do so here for as long as you're able. And I'm sure we'll talk to you 100 times, either as a city councilor or various other 37 hats you wear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juliana. We'll see you next time, okay?
Bye.
It is 7:50. Let's go ahead and pause for some local news, Kim Commando update, commercial break to pay for food and whatnot, and then we'll be back. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley News update. I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin today on the crime beat in Roswell as police investigate an attempted armed robbery. We're told it took place at the Family Dollar store at 909 East 2nd Street. Police said the robber gave a clerk a note that said he would shoot if he was not given any money. It is not known if the suspect got any money, but he did flee the store and has not been captured. No gunshots were fired. Nobody was injured. But if you know anything, you should call Roswell Police. The Carlsbad Public Library has received a $10,000 grant to support preserving the city's history for future generations. Carlsbad Public Library was one of 200 libraries across the country that received money from the Humanities Grants for Libraries program, which is part of the American Library Association. Sarah Jones, the director of the Carlsbad Public Library, said the money will be used to create videos of historic places and sites in Carlsbad. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's almost certain that Russia will hit America with cyber attacks in retaliation to U.S. sanctions against them. If a cyber war comes to us, it'll happen on two levels. The Russian government attacks on America's infrastructure, power, and communications, and those lone wolf attacks against small businesses. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. American business would do well to follow the advice from Great Britain's National Cybersecurity Center. Immediately secure all office equipment from malware and other cyber attacks. And call a meeting of all employees. Remind each and every one of them that no one is to open any email from an unrecognized sender. IT must update all software with the latest security patches. No app should be downloaded except by IT. This is not a time to panic or overreact, but remember, the chances of cyber attacks on America have never been higher. Get breaking tech news at commando.com.
If you're thinking about breaking some bad habits this year, start with this one: overpaying for your prescriptions. Make a better habit by always checking GoodRx to find the best price for your prescription medications. Prescription prices can vary between pharmacies by as much as $100, so stop paying too much. Use GoodRx to instantly find discounts and compare prices at all the pharmacies in your neighborhood. Even if you have insurance, GoodRx can often beat your copay. It's free, easy to use, and could instantly save you up to 80%. Plus, it's accepted over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide, like CVS, Kroger, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Vons, Walmart, and more. So for simple, smart savings on your prescriptions, check GoodRx. Go to goodrx.com/Kim. That's goodrx.com/Kim, goodrx.com/Kim.
GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance. In 2021, GoodRx users saved an average of 79% on retail prescription prices.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front working its way through eastern New Mexico today, so we'll stay fairly cool with our afternoon high in the upper 50s, sunshine and gusty wind around 30 miles an hour. Pretty cold overnight, dropping to near 20 under clear skies, and then we're looking at mid-50s and fair weather on Friday, warming up, and it stays sunny for the upcoming weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Goddard High's the place to be tonight. In my opinion, you got two games and against two different schools. The girls-boys doubleheader starts with the Goddard girls playing at 5:30 against Artesia. This is the second versus third seed. Goddard's the second seed. The winner of this will go on to play at Portales for the district championship. Meanwhile, the Goddard boys will wait in the wings. They'll play at 7 against Lovington. This is a good game. 19-7 overall is Lovington's mark. Goddard is 15-12. Now remember, Lovington was part of that three-way tie, but didn't get a chance to break the tie on Monday. Artesia broke the tie by defeating Goddard. So that starts at 7 tonight. The winner plays at Artesia. Hagerman against Tucumcari girls hoops. That's tonight at 6. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Wall Street's losses mounted Wednesday as world leaders waited to see if Russian President Vladimir Putin orders troops deeper into Ukraine. Wall Street has been closely watching developments in Ukraine, where Russia has amassed troops for a new potential invasion. The number of children in America living in poverty jumped dramatically after just 1 month without the expanded child tax credit payments, according to a new study. Advocates fear the lapse in payments could unravel what they say were landmark achievements in poverty reduction. Columbia University's Center on Poverty and Social Policy reports 3.7 million more children were living in poverty by January, a 41% increase from December when families received their last check. On Wall Street, the Dow down 464 points, the Nasdaq down 344, and the S&P 500 dropped 79 points.
Ed Heldenbrand, candidate for City Council. He's a patriot fighting against the waste of your tax dollars. As a CPA and Chief Financial Officer with over 35 years of experience, Ed understands the importance of managing budgets. By reducing the wasteful spending in the budget, we can lower your city water, sanitation costs, and work to reduce city fees. Roswell's potential is hurt by bad ideas and wasteful spending. Ed Hildebrand will never vote to shut down Roswell. He'll fight the job, education, and freedom-killing mandates from Santa Fe. It's important that taxpayers see improvements in our roads and city services to attract jobs, businesses, tourists, and to create an environment for local businesses to thrive. In Ward 3, you have a choice. Vote Ed Hildebrand, the conservative candidate. With your vote, we can build a better Roswell.
I'm Ed Hildenbrand.
City Council candidate for Ward 3, asking for your vote on Tuesday, March 1st. It's not about me, it's about we, and I approve this message.
We're rolling out the red, white, and blue carpet for Big O's President's Day sale, bringing you the very best deals from the biggest brands. From February 21st to the 27th, shop select sets of Michelin tires at your neighborhood Big O and get a $70 reward card. But that's not all. We're also giving you free installation. You deserve the presidential treatment, and that's exactly what we offer. Head to Big O for trusted service, expert auto care, and great prices on tires, brakes, oil changes, and more. This week only, get a $70 reward card when you buy select Michelin tires, plus free basic installation. Shop the President's Day sale at your local Big O, February 21st through the 27th. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Not valid with other offers. Disposal fees extra and at the 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price not to exceed $35 where permitted. Void where prohibited. Additional retailer offer advertised within is independent from the manufacturer's offer. Upgraded installation packages available at additional cost. See store for details.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees, so that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com.
Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell. When you think of home health care here in Roswell, what's the first thing that pops into your head? That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical. To remember.
The assault with missiles and tanks, artillery and troops pouring across the border. Warning sirens pierce the air in the Ukrainian capital Kiev, a scene of panic as people try to flee the city and traffic gridlocks. The BBC's Lise Doucette is there.
We saw here and in other major cities as well as small towns, people going to the supermarkets to stock up on food, going to the petrol stations to try to get some petrol, going to the ATMs to try to get some cash, some carrying small suitcases as they went to the metro where public transport is now free, and so many people saying, what do I do? What do I do now? And what happens next?
Correspondent Jeremy House says we'll hear from President Biden in a couple of hours.
Mr. Biden, in a written statement, condemned the unprovoked and unjustified attack and promised that the U.S. and its allies would hold Russia accountable. The president said he planned to speak to Americans today after a meeting of the group of 7 leaders. More sanctions against Russia were expected to be announced today.
And Vladimir Putin threatening grave consequences for any country that interferes with the invasion. Putin heard through a translator on the BBC.
Whoever tries to interfere with us or threaten our country should know that Russia's response will be immediate and lead to such consequences that have never been experienced in history.
Ukraine's government reporting at least 40 people killed so far, some of them said to be civilians. Financial markets around the globe responding with oil prices skyrocketing and stocks plunging. Looking at Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 465 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index off 344 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy.
If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388. Enjoy.
The government reports the U.S. economy ended 2021 expanding at a brisk 7% annual pace October through December. It's a slight upgrade from earlier estimates as businesses stepped up their restocking of supplies. For all of 2021, the nation's gross domestic product, total output of goods and services, jumped by 5.7%. That's the fastest calendar year growth since a 7.2% surge back in 1984, the aftermath of a brutal recession. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau ending emergency powers that police can use after authorities ended the blockades at the borders and the occupation in Ottawa by truckers and others posed to COVID-19 restrictions and mandates. Trudeau says that while the threat continues, the acute emergency is over. In an unprecedented move, Trudeau's government invoked the powers last week, and lawmakers affirmed that action. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Recapping the hour's lead story, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, airstrikes hitting targets all across the country, accompanied by a surge of Russian troops on the ground. There's missile and artillery fire. Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis, our military affairs analyst, says right now it's difficult to know exactly what Vladimir Putin's long-term strategy is.
He could take all of Ukraine without triggering an all-out war with NATO, but we know clearly in the Baltics, where you have a lot of ethnic Russians, that's part of what he would like to bring under his fold, too. I don't think he'll make that move now, but, you know, there have been a lot of things that we've been wrong about up to now anyway.
McGinnis calling it a very dangerous situation. Various countries around the world condemning the invasion, but not China. It is mute in its response. More on these stories. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Yeah, the headphones are quiet. I switched to another thing because my radio signal was being a little ornery at that. But when I was trying to listen for minutes, I flipped over. This is way inside baseball. I flipped over to programs instead of air to listen. So now I just went back. So that's
it was throwing me off. What the? I'm gonna start screaming. Doing the show for the hearing impaired.
No. I acquired super hearing last hour. And I got bit by a spider.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I started hearing really well.
It's got to be a bummer. You do understand now that with great power comes great responsibility.
That's what I'm learning.
All right.
Yes.
It's just going to have to start after 10.
Yeah, after 10. Right now, I'm irresponsible.
I can't clear up the streets right now. I'm doing morning radio.
I'm Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Hi, Hank Spider-Man. I feel bad for Spider-Man's brother. Yeah. Hi, Jim Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I'm a CPA. I'm really good, all right? I got bit by a spider that was incredibly smart.
Maybe that's why I like the movie Fred Claus so much. Maybe we need more stories of the brother or sister of said famous famous person.
Well, one of my favorite stand-up bits is about Jerry Christ. The brother of Jesus.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Everybody talks about my brother, big talk Jesus. Yeah. Nobody ever talks about me, Jerry Christ. He's over there turning water into wine. I'm over here turning water into cold Coors Light. Nobody ever gives me nothing. Never mind.
I would have liked to, oddly enough, see that. Weirdly enough,
John Gandhi. I was the half brother of Gandhi. Mom adopted me, and Mahatma got all the attention.
Yeah, but I'm sure out there's like a Ted Bezos. You know what I mean?
It's like I had the opportunity. He called me once. He was in college back in like 87.
Yeah.
Gave me a call. He's like, "Hey, I got this idea." Like, okay, Jeff.
Yeah.
Here comes Jeff again with all his lofty ideas.
Do you think you think needy Ted shows up in his house on weekends?
Right.
Dude, you got plenty of money. Come on, man.
John Zuckerberg.
Why is my Prime account being closed? I'm trying to watch The Boys.
Been using your password for 7 months now.
Yeah, you think he uses Jeff's password?
His password is me1.
Hey Jeff, can I use your Netflix password?
Would you break off with your Hulu account? Come on, Jeff. I know you got Disney Plus. I'm dying to see Boba Fett.
Yeah, I'd watch that movie. Just saying.
Penny Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Just slightly needy younger sister.
I would love to see that,
She made a couple of bad business decisions, and now she's married to a guy that owns a trailer park down in Provo, Utah.
Yeah. Or what if they're, or even if it's like a famous family that's like the one, like there's probably like Michelle Kardashian that's not on the show.
Well, no, that actually...
She's just a normal... I'm a CPA.
You know that Ozzy's got a daughter that nobody knows about.
Amy or something?
She was on the Osbournes 3 times, and nobody ever talks about her. She didn't want to be on the show.
Well, she didn't live in the house?
No, she part-time she did.
Did she for a little bit there?
Yeah, she will just
But then she moving out and everything just to be as far away from the celebrity side of it.
Every now and again, I like to go stay with Dad so I can try to understand what the hell he's saying.
Unlike Jack and Kelly, who kind of glommed on to that. Or I think it's Amy. I want to say her name's like Amy or something like that. Yeah. But, So, anyway, I'd love to see Ted Bezos come out.
Poor Ted Bezos.
I would watch that.
That's got to suck at Thanksgiving, though, right? I mean,
well, yeah, I'm sure he gets. It's like, Jeff, what have you been up to? And he's doing it. Ted's like, what have you been? I built a tree fort in the back.
It's like, I opened a McDonald's.
Can we start a bunk bed? We'll have so much more room for activities.
Fine, Jim.
All right. Let's get down to the meat and the potatoes of this hour here of the show. We're going to get you up to date with the weather here in just a few minutes. Then here about 8:15 or so, we're going to be joined in studio by Daryl Johnson. He's running for city council in Ward 4. And so we'll talk all with Daryl here about why he's running and why you should vote for him. So that's coming up this hour. Later on, we'll get you up to date with news and commercials. We got plenty of those for you.
Sure.
And whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show.
Tim Bezos' biggest mistake? Investing in Quibi.
Yeah. He's like,
should have known, man.
Hey, just email me that Netflix password to my Excite account.
It's tim.bezos@aol.com.
All right, it is 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front working its way through eastern New Mexico today, so we'll stay fairly cool with our afternoon high in the upper 50s, sunshine and gusty wind around 30 miles an hour. Pretty cold overnight, dropping to near 20 under clear skies, and then we're looking at mid-50s and fair weather on Friday, warming up, and it stays sunny for the upcoming weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 19 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 68%. Winds currently out of the east at 3 miles per hour. Expect highs right around 50 today. Sunny, highs near 50. Winds will be out of the north this morning, 5 to 10, picking up out of the northwest, 15 to 20 this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 20 degrees. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, kind of like more of today. Partly cloudy, once again, highs near 50. Northeast winds 5 to 10 in the morning. South 15 to 20 tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 24. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then a smidge warmer for the weekend, 56 and sunny on Saturday with east winds 5 to 10. And then we jump up into the mid-60s and sunny, 64 for a high on Sunday. And then warmer temperatures for next week. 70 on Monday, 73 on Tuesday. By midweek, 77. So we're going to be pushing 80 by midweek next week. So enjoy. If you like cooler temps, this is your Shangri-La for the next day or so. All right, it is 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's take a commercial break. It's pretty weighty, about a 5-minute break here. And then joining us on the other side will be Daryl Johnson. We'll talk all about his candidacy for City Council. Don't go away. That's coming up next. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com. Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
Vote for City Council. Vote for someone that has already made a difference. Over the last 35 years, Juliana Halverson has done just that. She's served this community in schools, youth programs, and scouts. With Main Street Roswell, she's worked to recruit and retain local business. She is the Republican conservative candidate with a proven commitment to our community. Vote Juliana Halverson, City Council, Ward 2, committed to Roswell.
I'm Juliana Halverson and I approve this message.
Time to double up and save at Roswell Honda.
Double your refund.
That's right. Roswell Honda wants to double up your tax refund up to $4,000 towards your next vehicle. And with clearance prices across the lot, you can walk in, double up, and drive away today in a 2014 Yukon for just $379 a month, a 2014 Civic for just $249 a month, or a 2017 Escape for just $199 a month. Zero down, no payments for 4 months, free AirPods with a test drive, and double your refund.
Time to double up.
On now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
When it comes to the security of your home or business, you want a local company, not a faceless national company, but one that has a personal investment right here in Southeast New Mexico. Xena Security Services is your local Honeywell dealer, and they specialize in service after the sale. They can handle all of your business and residential alarm and cameras, as well as home theater installation, all with contracts on your terms and all from a local company. The real Xena Security Services, right here in Southeast New Mexico. Call today, 626-3521. Protection with a local touch.
There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merch from the gift shop or online at roswellufomuseum.com. Don't forget about the UFO Festival, July 1st through 3rd, celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident. The International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
Honey, did you see the story in the Roswell paper recently about how Dennis Kintai and the city council want to spend $61 million on new baseball fields?
Yep, talk about out-of-control spending.
Yeah, they say it's a field of dreams, more like field of debt.
Definitely. Kintai and the council don't have their priorities straight. Remember, they wanted to spend $35 million on a new public safety complex. Thank goodness over 80% of voters rejected that boondoggle.
And meanwhile, crime has gone up drastically over Kintai's last 4 years in charge.
Yeah, and Roswell's roads are a mess. Have you seen the sorry state that streets like North Garden are in? Potholes everywhere.
That's why we need Tim Jennings for mayor. Tim will control spending, hire more police officers, and fix our roads.
Let's send a message to City Hall that Roswell can't afford to spend $61 million on building new baseball fields. Vote Tim Jennings for mayor.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
Have you ever wondered how prayer works? If you answered yes, you are most likely like the rest of us. Prayer certainly is not to inform God, the God of the universe, about personal matters in your life. After all, He already knows what's going on. He made you. You don't have to pray to gain God's acceptance either. He loves you, and we know this because Jesus died for you. So why do we pray? For starters, the Father wants to hear from His children. In my family, I often know what's going on with my children, but I love to hear their voices in my ears. Have you ever been stressed over life or anxiety that no person can help with? Well, prayer is good for that as well. There was a guy named Paul who wrote to a church telling them not to be anxious about anything but to pray. He told them that the peace that they could not understand would guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So whatever's going on, whatever's happening, just pray. Give it a try.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Ed Heldenbrand, candidate for City Council. He's a patriot fighting against the waste of your tax dollars. As a CPA and Chief Financial Officer with over 35 years of experience, Ed understands the importance of managing budgets. By reducing the wasteful spending in the budget, we can lower your city water, sanitation costs, and work to reduce city fees. Roswell's potential is hurt by bad ideas and wasteful spending. Ed Hildebrand will never vote to shut down Roswell. He'll fight the job, education, and freedom-killing mandates from Santa Fe. It's important that taxpayers see improvements in our roads and city services to attract jobs, businesses, tourists, and to create an environment for local businesses to thrive. In Ward 3, you have a choice. Vote Ed Hildebrand, the conservative candidate. With your vote, we can build a better Roswell.
I'm Ed Hildebrand, City Council candidate for Ward 3, asking for your vote on Tuesday, March 1st. It's not about me, it's about we, and I approve this message.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, candidate for City Council representing Ward 4, Daryl Johnson in studio this morning with us. Morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Good. Nice to be on your show. I hear it all the time. And
you're the one. Just kidding.
It's nice to be part of the component. And yeah, exactly. So you're the one.
That's right. I'm the one. So as I say, and I'm saying this to every single candidate because I truly mean this. Thank you for stepping up and doing this. This is serving the community. I mean, it's a lightning rod. You know, I don't care if city council, mayor, anytime you're running for elected office, there's a lightning rod that kind of comes attached to that.
Exactly.
You know, but and so we do appreciate you coming in saying, you know what, I want to do my part to make this community better, and I appreciate that.
Exactly. You know, it's kind of like when I started watching my kids play Little League sports, you know, and sitting there on the bleachers and listening to all the parents complain and saying, oh my gosh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. And ultimately, I just, next year, I'm the coach and the manager.
Right.
And, you know, you just get tired of complaining and you're tired of watching them get slapped around. And, you know, there's so many skills that these young kids could be learning, and you want to be the one to actually teach them and watch them progress. And and they're like little flowers, and they blossom. And just to see all that on the field just explode into enthusiasm with the kids, the parents. I ended up doing it for about 11 years.
Okay.
And I ended up complaining about how the league was ran, and I was vice president for 8 years. So
So you got a history here. I don't like it. I'm just going to get sucked into it.
Same way with youth football. I did the same thing, sitting there on the sidelines, and we were very successful. I always had a winning season, and
Gotcha.
That's what you do. And here I am every day opening up the Roswell Daily Record, and God bless the Roswell Daily Record. They give us our valuable news, but I'm constantly opening it up and looking at things that I disagree with, and sometimes it's easy to disagree when you don't know the whole picture.
Sure.
And that's why I'm running.
Gotcha.
I can no longer sit back and say, what the heck are we doing?
Sure.
What are we doing? And, here I am no longer going to be on the bleachers like I did with my kids. I want to try to get in the ring and actually try to coach the city somewhat. And I have a lot of skills that I'm bringing to the table from what I've done with the state.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of want to talk about. You do have lots of government experience. Your day job, for folks who don't know, is with the New Mexico Department of Transportation. CFO, which would be the chief financial, the money guy.
The money
for
guy.
the NMDOT.
Actually, that's what they call me. There's the money guy, and my signature is actually, it's on all big ticket items, and I have coached the administrator who works directly for me into also signing on the dotted line, and she knows my criteria and what we expect, and we do many quotes.
Sure.
I am the most frugal guy you ever seen.
Sure. But I imagine that also gives you experience with state money and how they move it, how they operate with it. I would even say you probably have some experience between the various administrations that you've served under, where you can almost probably anticipate what's coming and where it's going and where it's coming from. You know what I mean? If you're
absolutely.
as a CFO, you got your ear to the ground. You're seeing where the money's being spent and how it's being spent, or you could read the tea leaves on what you're getting and what you're not getting and all that.
You're
kind
exactly
of stuff.
right. I mean, the first thing you want to do is always have a plan, and at the New Mexico DOT, we got about a multi-year plan, 5-year plan, and we always when once a year lapses, you create another plan for the upcoming year. And at the beginning of every year, I create a business plan, and I get all of our allocations, $25 million, somewhere around there in our operations, about $25 million in our road betterments, and probably about $75 million in new construction projects. And my affiliation with the new construction is limited. We just sign for all the payments and make sure they follow all the criteria and everything. Those are out to bid. And they're highly, highly bid upon. And there's some very stringent things with the feds overlooking everything. I mean, we have oversight in so many different aspects of that. It's crazy. But on the operations and our road betterments, that's all me.
Gotcha.
And I'm constantly looking at our business process. They want to haul material, or do we want to have the contractor haul?
Mm-hmm.
It's real simple. You throw down a piece of paper and a pencil, and you start doing math, and you figure, what is our best plan of attack, and all components of everything we do, that's what I have to do. And,
Gotcha.
And to look at dollars, you have to look at them because I want to say we got probably about 75 different line items.
Mm-hmm.
We got accounts for everything you can think of. And when one account gets a little weak, we have to strengthen it up by robbing from another account.
Gotcha.
I mean, your budget just doesn't grow during the year. You get a budget, you make a plan.
Sure.
And anytime you deviate from your plan, you have to rob from one, as they call rob from
Peter to pay Paul.
To pay Paul, absolutely. And, it's very, it's kind of fun, because I'm constantly, every week, I'm looking at budget, I'm seeing what we have spent, and I'm doing projections. Why do I do projections? In state government, we start out with a big budget, and on June 30th, the budget has to be, guess what? 0.
Yeah, it's got to balance.
It's got to be 0.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the whole budget, because whatever you don't spend, what is the old saying? If you don't use it, you lose it.
Sure. I mean, obviously, like my military experience things like that. Better use up all that per diem, or they're not going to pay us that the next time.
Right.
That logic.
See, that logic is true to form, and it was very, very unique when I first started there, because we would go out on these spending sprees just to spend the money.
Sure.
And I'm like, no, we have the ability as the CFO to move this money wherever we want it.
And that's the perfect excuse for fraud, waste, and abuse, I'm imagining.
Absolutely, Mike. And you just hit the nail right on the head. And what I would do is where does our tax dollars come from? It comes from gas tax. That's how we're paid, and I think it's 17.8 cents a gallon. And whether the price of gas goes up, it still stays the same amount. And whether it goes down, it still stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept is when the gas price is lower, people use more gas, we get more tax. When the price of gas goes up, people use less, and we don't get as much tax. If anybody ever looked past how we get our tax and how it's actually derived.
Mm-hmm.
But one of our biggest objectives are at the end of the year is to put that gas tax back on the road. So what I do is all of my line items toward the end of the year, and my administrator, she's pretty frugal, and that's one of the reasons I hired her. She's great. But that's one of the things that we do is we look at all of our line items, and we're very frugal all year long. We're tightwads, and we don't buy things we don't need. And I always feel like Larry Barker's looking over my shoulder. At any given time, he's going to say, hey, the camera crew's coming in and we want to look at something. And I'm ready for him at any given day and time. And actually, I'm proud of what we do there. And we do a great job of it. But at the end of the year, I get all of our expenditures and say, I have like a couple of $1 million. And I'll always go to my, we've got projects just sitting on the shelf. All we got to do is fund them.
Gotcha.
I mean, once again, we have a 5-year plan. And so I get my money at the end of the year, and I spend it on one big project or two projects.
Gotcha.
And that's the way the taxpayers want to see their money go.
I'm curious, do you ever get, because obviously the city, the county, they have their own road projects and fundings and things. Is there a lot of dealings with, maybe partnerships in some of that? Is there, because, all right, well, the county or the city's like, all right, we're going to work up to here, and then the state takes over. I mean, do you have I'm guessing because you handle money side, not so much the asphalt side of it, but I mean, is there a lot of that where you have to interact with city, county people, kind of deciding where the money's coming from, who's responsible for what part of this road and that and all that?
Yeah, well, absolutely. The city draws their line in the sand where they end and we began, and so does the county.
Yeah.
And we have to have a good relationship with all municipalities. It's a must. We have a program called our Local Government Road Fund, and it's a state-derived fund, and counties and cities all apply for these funds.
Gotcha.
So, yes, they're always in conversation with us, and we always have to look at what is the best for all of us. And it's a good balancing act. And
I was just kind of curious, like, because obviously, we talk about city and people, and I hear one of the things that people are having issues with a lot, and even candidates in other wards here, not just, it's all wards, and they're talking about road conditions in the city and stuff. And so obviously as NFDOT, that's not your ball, that's not your world, but I didn't know if you see from that perspective what some of the stuff we're talking about here.
Well, Mike, it's funny you say that because that was one of my biggest talking points.
Yeah.
When we first had the forum, everybody started with a little bio of themselves, and and I shot off with we're taxed enough, and our roads just look like they're horrible, and our infrastructure is crumbling, it's failing us, and it's real simple. The taxpayers of Roswell, they pay their taxes for garbage, sewer, our water line infrastructure, our water, and guess what? Our streets, and anytime they hear conversations about money going elsewhere, they cringe. And I'm going to tell you, I've knocked on a lot of doors lately, and I've talked to a lot of people, and especially over there around the tree streets. Oh my gosh, those streets are horrible. And they throw their hands up and they say, we've given up on city government.
Gotcha.
They don't care about our streets. They're not going to do anything. And we've never even heard of a plan where they're going to even think of doing anything.
Gotcha.
And it's heartbreaking to hear that people have lost confidence in the city. And for me, being on the outside looking in, I don't know all the criteria the city faces, but I do know that more comprehensive thought needs to be put into the management of the funds.
Sure.
And that's why I want to bring my talents in, because I like to make the rubber meet the road.
Sure.
And seriously,
make the dollar stretch, make everything.
Does. And that's what I do. That's one of my biggest successes for the state was getting more bang for our buck.
So let me ask you, and obviously,
you haven't been a city councilor before here, so you don't see all the X's and O's that they see.
Right.
But being the financial guy for the NMDOT, being the budget, I mean, just from the outside looking in, is there things that like right away you want to get in there and say, you know what, you guys don't do this right, we should start looking at this? Is there any in the budgetary side or anything or red flags that you see just from your experience from the outside looking in that you want to address?
Well, from the outside looking in, like I opened the paper today and I see where we want to vote for $11.1 million to fund the ascent,
aviation,
the planning, the construction of everything. And, I'm wondering why we're doing that, you know? And once again, what is our end game on this? You
Gotcha.
know? They're taking $1 million from wastewater, a couple of million from solid waste, 4.1 from the general fund, and I want to say $1 million something from the water fund. And of course, what you've just done is you've had a plan, and now you've kind of wrecked it somewhat, and you've robbed from, once again, Peter to pay Paul. And, I don't know if we're turning into a bank now, but it's kind of scary to see stuff like that. And all I would like to know is what is in it for the city,
Gotcha.
And those are beautiful things. And look, I am nothing but excited about bringing jobs to Roswell. I mean, that is an exciting thing.
We all would love to see that
absolutely,
happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that is one of the most great things I can hear. I mean, anytime we get our airport, our infrastructure out at the airport, and we monopolize anything we can out there, it's a great thing, because I'm going to say in the near future, that's where a lot of jobs are going to be coming from, a lot of well-paying jobs.
Sure.
And we do need to pay attention to that. And maybe this is a good thing, but I also would like to say, well, how about our roads?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going back to what everybody's complaining about.
They are the arteries of our town.
They are the arteries of our town, and they just suck the life out of some beautiful properties. I mean, when you turn on a road and you see, oh my gosh, you have to use both hands to hold your drink or you're going to spill it because of the bumps. It's just ridiculous. And to hear the people say, what's the plan on this? Everybody says roads, everybody says infrastructure, but not one person has stepped up and helped us with that.
Gotcha.
And when I see that there's really not even a plan, because I've actually interviewed people over the years, and I've talked about the plans, and I've talked, look, where I work, I know a lot of contractors, and I know a lot of business going on, and I really know that the city hasn't taken it seriously. And that would be something I would want to step up and I would want to take serious, and I would like to, kind of nip it in the bud. Look, there's banks to get loans from. I mean, the money we spend today improving our infrastructure for the city roads is $1 that's going to be, it's going to just cost so much more later. And we got one chance to get it right. When you build all of our streets and they look so beautiful, it will attract so many people to all parts of the town.
Gotcha.
And it would just be it would be such a relief on so many people that these roads are 60 to 80 years old, and they'll do a slurry seal. They'll do a little micro seal over it. And look, those are good processes for certain parts of the street.
Sure.
But those are a waste of money in certain parts of town.
Gotcha.
And I mean a complete waste. And, I'm going to go back and talk about the $61 million baseball field and sports complex. And I know everybody's beat this horse to death, but wow, that's a conversation everybody hears. But they want to say, wow, with that kind of money, why would we not improve our roads? And, because that's what I do, I build roads. I know 61 million would probably build about 100 miles of new pavement.
Gotcha.
100 miles. Wow.
That would go a long way.
That would be amazing. That would just light up the city so much. And, that's what people want to see. That's where people want to see their taxes go. And at the end of the day, and I'm going to contrast what I said earlier about, what I do for the state is I want to see the money go back on the roads because that's what we pay for.
Gotcha.
We don't want to do all these feel-good things that the state, obviously always wants to do.
Yeah.
I want to see the money go back where it belongs, on the roads, on our infrastructure, because
Gotcha.
that's why people pay the taxes. And once again, I want to use that same concept with the city. And I think there's an opportunity there. Roswell is, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful city, and we need to take care of it.
Gotcha.
So
let's go the
the positive side? Is there things that you like right now that the city's doing, and you're thinking we need to invest more time and energy in that? Is there any aspects that you really think that they should do more things with?
There was a time when I saw the city really promoting the Hike It and Spike It.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the city really promoting softball. And my gosh, this would bring so many teams in from so many different parts of actually West Texas, all over New Mexico, Oklahoma. I mean, it was just crazy. And our gross receipts tax would just bust at the seams when that happened. And also, it gave our kids something to do.
Sure.
It was a great thing, softball. I remember when we had softball, and it was the Bud tournament. 150 teams would show up. Oh my gosh, they would come from all over the nation to come play in the New Mexico Bud tournament. And it seems like we've just got away from promoting the city in those aspects. And those are great things. And we've built the infrastructure. We've built softball fields. We've got a nice baseball fields. We also have the Cielo Grande now, where we can hold these big Hike It and Spike It tournaments. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I just think those are assets that we just need to put our arms around and grasp them and embrace them, And look at when you go to Ruidoso and you see all these people walking up and down the streets in Ruidoso and visiting the shops there and spending their money. That's what we want to see here in Roswell. New Mexico, the Roswell Main Street program is great. And I commend the people that are, and I commend the people for the alien theme and all that. I mean, that is just great. And we need to keep building on that.
Gotcha.
And I don't know why. I mean, every day, it's just nonstop. People are pulling into Roswell. You see Canadian license plates, Mexico. They're coming from other countries. They want to see Roswell, and they want to see this alien thing.
Yeah.
And it is every day, and it's nonstop. They will not quit coming, and we need to meet them halfway. I think we should build on that.
Sure.
I mean, I've heard people talk bad about it, but at the same time, look, if they keep coming, we need to meet them halfway.
Sure.
We'll
take their dollars. We'll take their interest and let them come and explore our community.
Yes, and let them walk up and down Main Street. And the more we make Main Street flourish, the better the whole community is going to be, And I think there's a lot of opportunity with that.
Gotcha. Very good. Let's talk like the networking and dealing with folks side. I mentioned this during our interview last hour with Juliana that we have the largest city council in the state of New Mexico, 10 members. With that, probably pretty diverse. We've got you really do have a lot of varying opinions amongst those 10 people on the city council right now. Obviously, like you said, your coaching, your experience with youth, the experience with the NMDOT. Relationships, building those. You're gonna be dealing with people that agree with you and don't agree with you, and you know what I mean. How do you plan on kind of handling that, navigating that side of things?
Well, and that's a good question. That's just a great question. When I started with the state and I started cleaning up government waste there, I was so unpopular. Oh my gosh, I was hated. I even heard people say, "I'll kill you if I ever see you outside of here." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh," And all I was doing was, the good old boy thing, and everybody was kicking the can down the road. And I just improved processes and I improved budgets, and we would run out of budgets in some areas. Oh my gosh, we'd have $1 million budget and we'd run out of it 4 months before the end of the year. And of course the people would have nothing to do. And I revamped those programs and I made it, actually those are some of my slush funds now, but it's real simple. I have a quality program because I come with a strong background in quality. And it's basically where you get all the components of everything you do, and you run report cards on it, and you look at your successes and your failures, and you build on your successes, and you have corrective action plans for your failures. And implementing that, I wasn't popular at all.
Gotcha.
And I can only assume I'm going to step into this role in the event I get elected, and I'm not going to be popular. But when you start moving forward and you start fulfilling your agenda items, people that pay taxes, they're going to look you in the eye and say, "Where have you been?" Gotcha. "Oh my gosh, thank you. This is a breath of fresh air." And actually, some of the people that are going to fight me till the very end of change, because change is not easy. Let me tell you, anytime you want to change these creatures of habit,
you're right. Yeah.
You're going to run into a brick wall. But I'm going to tell you, when I change these people, they're going to embrace me. And the taxpayers will look me in the eye and say, "Oh my God, thank you. Where have you been?" And I'm going to tell you, it always gets ugly before it gets better. But let me tell you, the end result will be good.
Absolutely. And this is just why I'm sharing this right now. I don't know, but I'm going to. But my own personal experiences. You always hear things like, like walk tall, carry, a big stick. Oh, you walk small, talk little. Your actions do speak, and right. I think even if you're consistent and you march to the same beat and you believe what you say and do what you say, people will respect you regardless if they agree with you or disagree with you.
You're exactly right. People have to buy into you. You know, you can. And that's the thing. Of course, knocking on a lot of doors. That's the first thing out of people's mouth. Well, everybody says this, everybody says that, but nobody ever comes through.
Right.
And that is sad.
Yeah.
Because it does happen, and people tell you what they want to hear, what you want to hear, and they'll feed it to you in big doses, and then ultimately get on there, and then they'll follow the same old pattern, the same old rigmarole. And here we are in the same situation we were when you got elected.
Sure.
And, and that's something I don't want to do.
Right.
And actually, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to fulfill everything I said, and I'm going to talk the talk. I'm going to walk the walk, and carry the big stick.
Sure.
And look, we have to improve the city of Roswell. We've been stuck on 48,000 people for how long now? And
let's see, I've been here since 2000, and it's been that since then. So
yeah,
and I'm sure it's before that too.
Exactly. So what is our plan to increase economic development here?
Yeah.
Of course I love the things that are going on now, but for everything that pops up, two things dry up and blow away. And we have to look at a way to, increase our economic development. The airport has so many great things there. We paint planes there. We refurbish planes there. They actually fly them in here. We tear them down and we scrap them. It's a great place out there. We have mechanics. We have more mechanics that want to show up out there. And the long-range plan on the airport, which I'm not aware of, is all kinds of economic development out there. It should flourish.
Sure.
And hopefully we can embrace that because we really need to. And I would like to talk a little bit about, I heard that they're building a lot of new houses here in Roswell. And I guess that's going to be for these new people that are showing up here, which I'm not sure where they're coming from. But I'm glad to hear we're building new homes. The Municipal Infrastructure Reimbursement Program. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
A little. I don't have a whole lot of.
Well, what it is, it's the city has gone in and they've said, look, we're going to compensate all contractors so much money for building the sidewalk, for building the water line infrastructure,
the city stuff,
city
infrastructure.
Absolutely. So, once again, I'm like, why are we doing that when we should be putting, once again, money back on our roads? And how is that actually fair for, okay, let's say Mike Winters wants to buy a new house. Oh, and the sidewalk's cracked on it. So if you rebuild the sidewalk, is the city going to reimburse you for that? I'm going to say no, but if the contractor is building a new home over here in the subdivision, they're going to pay for that sidewalk.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose stuff like that. Actually, it builds animosity amongst the citizens of Roswell.
Gotcha. So whatever the policy is, keep it consistent for everybody.
Why would that not be? You know, and don't give people things to complain about.
Sure.
It's bad enough we have ugly sidewalks in some areas, and guess who owns the sidewalks? The person that lives there.
Yeah. You're responsible for the maintenance.
So when you start fixing sidewalks uptown, and theirs are still crumbling, and you're holding them accountable to fix their own sidewalk, that's a conversation that, the people are legit with, and I totally get it. And I really look forward to the challenge, and I really look forward to talking about infrastructure, talking about the dollars.
Yeah.
I noticed There's another CFO running in city council, but he's in a different ward than mine. And I think collectively, my gosh, I think bringing a lot of business, seriously, the city is a business. It needs to be run like one. And I know we have a business manager for the city. It's time to open up this can of worms and let's look at all of it. And
you're right. It's and I get what you're saying because, I mean, obviously, a government entity is way different than a business in terms of, you know, a business is doing it to make money, whereas a government entity is doing it to get services and get pay for what they're supposed to do. And I get what you're saying, and yeah, it's not like they're going to run out and turn a profit on everything. You know, I don't anticipate ever them really turning a profit out at the recreation aquatic center or these places, but at least we don't have it where they're money pits or they're not, you know, obviously, you know, the government's not designed to make money per se, but it sure can be frugal and responsible for the money that they are given. And that's kind of what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
It's like when I say run it like a business, I mean, look, a business says, are we spending money where we don't need to? Then we're not doing that. Where a government entity is like, well, we'll get to it when we get to it. And, you know, somebody's, you know, and so it falls through the cracks easily. And I think that's kind of what you're saying is we need that mindset of why aren't we minding our P's and Q's like a private business sector would and use that same scrutiny on a government budget.
Yes, and it should be. You know, the mentality of government waste is just, it's true to form. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be hard to walk into the city and find waste.
Yeah,
and I've cleaned up a lot of waste at the state, and you can still walk over there and say, well, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And actually, I had somebody last week question me on some waste, and I told them, well, we visited that back in 2007 and fixed that.
I'm sure you're doing a great job as NMDOT, but I don't think you have enough lifetimes to point out all the fraud and waste that the state of New Mexico is doing.
Oh, my gosh. You're exactly right. It is a nightmare.
This has been a show since New Mexico was made a state in 1912.
Absolutely. That has been a show since 1912. You're exactly
I have more
right.
adjectives, but I can't say it's a family-friendly show.
Yes.
But we're about out of time here, but I want to give you the last word on here. Anything we didn't cover, anything you want to make sure that you got out to folks here today, I want to give you that opportunity.
Well, you know, I think with what I've done for the state, my mentality as far as helping people, helping citizens, I love the kids. I'm a very family-oriented guy. I want to make the city of Roswell very attractive to our youth. I want to make it attractive to, you know, like our drag racing. Oh, my gosh, that's getting ready to dry up and blow away.
Yeah.
That's such an attractive thing. We need drag racing here in Roswell.
What can we do to embrace that?
You know, what can we do to embrace that? What can we do to make sure it doesn't go away? I mean, my gosh, you know, the Roundy Round, you know, I got to commend the gentleman over there on South Atkinson there, building the Roundy Round track, standing up to everybody that got in his way, and he still did it. And that's such a great attraction. We have truck and tractor pulls there.
Sure.
I mean, it's just a nice arena.
Probably brings a lot of outside folks to the area,
outside
too.
people come in from all over. And guess what? Once again, the kids have somewhere to go.
Yeah, everything I've heard, family-friendly fun,
yes.
kids having a great time. It's just nothing but a great family outing. So, yeah, you're right. Let's support that.
We need to support the city of Roswell. We need to get kids out to do stuff. You know, it's just Roswell has so much opportunity to do so many great things. And I'm going to tell you, if somebody really looks at our economic plan, I think it would just be a piece of cake to get 50,000 people here in the next 4 years.
Gotcha.
I really do. And I think with a lot of comprehensive thought and a lot of great minds putting their heads together and looking at a path to getting our population where we want it and bringing in all kinds of, you know, opportunity, I think we can embrace that. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to the roads thing. You know, improved roads, people will come in and buy a house. I don't care where it's at, as long as there's a beautiful infrastructure, black, tar, beautiful road in front of it, you know?
Sure.
So, you know, I just think we need to embrace that and run with it. So,
if anybody wants to get involved, has any questions, what's the best way to get a hold of you right now?
You know, I don't have a website, and of course, I'm an old codger from way back. But my daughter insisted I get one. She's my
she's your technical advisor.
Yeah, she's my technical advisor, and she's also my treasurer. And
Gotcha.
she's done a great job. And but right now, anybody can call me with any questions. 575-550-0685. I am very open to anybody at any given time, just like I am with the state. We got 320 employees, but I'm going to tell you, I will answer a phone call to anybody. I don't have somebody answer my phone. I don't filter calls. I will talk to anybody at any given time because I'm serious. I'm open and I'm receptive to everybody.
Sure.
And anybody that knows me at the DOT knows that's the way I roll.
Gotcha.
And that's the way you get things done.
Sure.
And that's how you really know how people are from the very bottom to the very top, what their mentality is, what their problems are, and where they want to go. And, for the most part, what it takes to get there,
Yeah.
and you gotta really understand and know people. And that's another great thing I'm going to bring to the table is I'm open arms to everybody.
Gotcha.
I came from way back from the east side, and I've moved to where I'm now. And I'm telling you, I have a good rapport with everybody on all levels. And I'm not going to be one that's slinging mud against any of my, because we're a very highly contentious area right now. There's 5 of us, I think, running for Ward 4.
Yeah, that's a busy race right now.
And I like every one of them. I think they're all great people, but I just think I'm going to bring a little more to the table.
Gotcha.
So
very good.
That's it.
Well, Daryl, I appreciate you spending time with us here. Good luck on the election. And again, thank you. Win, lose, or draw. Thank you very much for doing what you're doing, and love to have you on. And obviously, as a city councilor, anytime open invite to come and talk and do any of that stuff and get the word out to our folks here in town.
All right. Well, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'll let you go stomp out fires at the NMDOT now.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you got a few.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Daryl. It is 8:53. Let's do a quick Wall Street business update. Quick break before we get you into news. Don't go away.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Wall Street's losses mounted Wednesday as world leaders waited to see if Russian President Vladimir Putin orders troops deeper into Ukraine. Wall Street has been closely watching developments in Ukraine, where Russia has amassed troops for a new potential invasion. The number of children in America living in poverty jumped dramatically after just 1 month without the expanded child tax credit payments, according to a new study. Advocates fear the lapse in payments could unravel what they say were landmark achievements in poverty reduction. Columbia University's Center on Poverty and Social Policy reports 3.7 million more children were living in poverty by January, a 41% increase from December when families received their last check. On Wall Street, the Dow down 464 points, the Nasdaq down 344, and the S&P 500 dropped 79 points.
Hi, I'm Dennis Kintai, Mayor of Roswell. Since becoming mayor in 2014, we've accomplished a lot. We've cleaned out numerous derelict structures that spoil our neighborhoods. We've constructed a state-of-the-art aquatic center. We have built 2 new splash pads in city parks for families to enjoy. We have invested over $25 million to revitalize our air center. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the city of Roswell has stayed open and free while we work to ensure everyone's safety. Today, we are under attack from those trying to impose Santa Fe values on our way of life. I will always fight to keep Roswell values front and center. We've done a lot, but there's more to be done. I'm asking you to vote to keep me, Dennis Kintai, as your mayor on March 1st. Together, we can keep Roswell free. This is Dennis Kintai, and I approve of this ad.
Buying a good, clean, reliable pre-owned vehicle is just about the smartest thing you can do these days. But how do you know it's good, clean, and reliable? Well, just visit your friends at Roswell Ford. Here at the Tailgate Nation, we have over 100 outstanding pre-owned vehicles ready to serve you and your family for years to come. How do you know? Because we put everyone through a rigorous 139-point inspection, and we give you a 3-day money-back guarantee to be sure it's right. These are vehicles you'll be proud to own and thrilled to drive, like a 2015 Ford Fusion Hybrid for just $11,980, a 2017 Ford Escape for just $15,980, and a 2020 Ford Explorer XLT for just $39,980, plus about 100 more that are just as good. Sure, you can get a used car just about anywhere, but you'll only find a selection like this at Roswell Ford. So don't take chances. Come by and see us at Roswell Ford, the tailgate nation at the corner of 9th and Main.
Have you ever wondered how prayer works? If you answered yes, you are most likely like the rest of us. Prayer certainly is not to inform God, the God of the universe, about personal matters in your life. After all, He already knows what's going on. He made you. You don't have to pray to gain God's acceptance either. He loves you, and we know this because Jesus died for you. So why do we pray? For starters, the Father wants to hear from His children. In my family, I often know what's going on with my children, but I love to hear their voices in my ears. Have you ever been stressed over life or anxiety that no person can help with? Well, prayer is good for that as well. There was a guy named Paul who wrote to a church telling them not to be anxious about anything but to pray. He told them that the peace that they could not understand would guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So whatever's going on, whatever's happening, just pray. Give it a try.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com. Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin and Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin and Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin and Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
The Fergalicious boys can keep you hot this winter. Fergalicious. Oh yeah, it's getting cold out there, and Fergie's Plumbing and Heating has what you need to keep things hot in your home. They can come by and winterize your pipes and check your insulation, and you know they'll do it with nothing but love. Oh yeah, baby. Call the Fergalicious boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating at 622-2660. When you need it hot, Fergie's is on the job. Fergalicious.
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up next. Stay tuned. Next hour, we will have City Councilor running for re-election in Ward 3. Judy Stubbs will join us, and we'll chit-chat with her. News up next. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The death toll has risen to at least 50 in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That's according to the Ukrainian government, which reports some civilian casualties. Vladimir Putin's forces hitting Ukraine on multiple fronts by land, sea, and air.
Air raid sirens sound in central Kiev as big explosions were heard in the capital just before dawn. Explosions could also be heard in the towns of Kharkiv and Odessa as world leaders decried the start of an invasion that could cause massive casualties. Fears also rang out that the invasion would topple Ukraine's democratically elected government and threaten the post-Cold War balance on the continent.
That's correspondent Karen Shamus, our military affairs analyst, calling the situation
incredibly dangerous.
Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis says Russia is a dangerous adversary.
When you consider that they have many thousands of nuclear weapons, they tested some intercontinental ballistic missiles, cruise missiles this past weekend. I know they have a bunch of intermediate ballistic missiles.
President Biden threatening tougher sanctions on Russia due to speak in about 90 minutes. Ukrainian President Zelensky likens Russia's attack to Nazi aggression of World War II.
Today, Russia launched an invasion of Ukraine. Putin has started a war with Ukraine, with the whole democratic world. He wants to destroy my country. He wants to destroy our state, everything that we built, everything that we live for.
Zelensky heard through a translator on the BBC. And the Russian invasion taking a heavy toll on global financial markets, including Wall Street, where the Dow is down 646 points, the Nasdaq Composite Index off 63, and the S&P is down 51. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm cute kid number 1. And I'm cute kid number 2. And we have been forced, you mean hired? We have been hired to tell you what direct lender FOMO is. So let's say you buy a new home, and maybe you use one of those big mortgage monsters. Or someone your realtor or friend recommends. And then a few months later, you hear us being forced, hired to tell you about our mortgage team's direct lender advantage. And then you feel like you missed out, because you probably did miss out. And that is direct lender FOMO.
It's Ryan, and our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions within its own walls. There's no middleman. This often allows us to get you a better rate on that new home mortgage, saving you monthly and lifelong money. We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSconsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Live rec NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
The number of Americans collecting unemployment benefits fell to a 52-year low after another decline in applications last week.
The Labor Department says jobless claims fell by 17,000 from 249,000 to 232,000 for the week ending February 19th. The 4-week average for claims fell by 7,250 to 236,250. In total, 1,476,000 Americans were collecting jobless aid the week that ended February 5th, a decrease of about 112,000 from the previous week.
Correspondent Jeremy House. The Palestinian UN ambassador wearing a mask saying end apartheid has accused Israel of engaging in apartheid in nearly a dozen ways. Israel's ambassador accusing him of regurgitating claims from the Palestinian Authority, which he says promotes hate, incitement, violence, and terror. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Recapping the hour's lead story, Russia has invaded Ukraine by land, sea, and air. Powerful explosions have rocked various Ukrainian cities, including Kiev. Correspondent Joseph Fetterman reports the world is condemning Putin's aggression.
Condemnations from around the world, from the U.S., from NATO, an appeal from the United Nations to Russia to please stop. But coming out of Moscow, for now, only defiance. President Putin vowing to continue and vowing that there will be severe consequences if the world tries to stop him.
Perhaps not surprisingly, Russia ally China is not condemning Putin's war on Ukraine. Beijing urges all sides instead to exercise restraint while refusing to call Putin's action an invasion or a war. And once again on Wall Street, stocks are deep in the red. The Dow down 591 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Do it to me, Goosey.
Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes.
More war footage on the telly. Seeing some of the results of some of the. I think I saw a downed helicopter. I saw it look like I'm not sure if it was a dogfight scenario of a couple of it. Looked like I saw MiG, maybe, and I couldn't tell what the other aircraft was, but it looked like one was a MiG, and then they kind of did one of those.
One of them waifs.
Was, air combat looking.
Okay, so answer a question for me.
All right.
You were in the Air Force, so you would know.
Okay.
Is there a military term, a flight or aviation term known as a dido?
Dido.
Yes. As in a maneuver, like an aerial maneuver called a dido.
I would say maybe.
Okay.
I wasn't a pilot, so I didn't do combat.
Figured you would be more privy than anyone else.
I've heard that before, but
I've gotten into an argument with someone in the past.
Yeah.
Because he said, "Oh, they're up in the air doing those little didos." I'm like, doing their what nows? Because Dido to me is a pop singer from the early 2000s.
Yeah, that's all. I've never heard it. I've never heard someone use that term Dido before.
And I've looked it up,
that way.
I couldn't find it. I'm like, well,
I haven't heard.
No.
I mean, what was the?
It was one of those where like the plane was flying.
What was the gesture he did?
It dipped like that. It was like a flip dip thing.
Okay. I've never heard that called a Dido before.
Okay, so maybe it was just like a word he was making up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
now,
I do
granted,
that sometimes.
Pilots have their own language and use terms that we, the people, do not.
Sure.
Like, for instance, my experience, again, this is my experience, my personal experience. Right. As a weapons troop, I dealt with pilots when they go to launch, and I'd help them, the pilot does a walk around with the aircraft before they get in and go. And as a weapons troop, I was there for the launch to make sure the pilot goes through, when he's going through whatever ordinance he has on his thing, he's going through it. He's supposed to know what he's looking at, but generally they don't. So I'm there in case he's got questions, and then when he's satisfied.
So you're like Clippy.
Yeah.
It looks like you're about to fly this plane. Maybe I can help with you.
But once he's satisfied, I go behind him, and then I start pulling pins, arming the fuse, doing things that like remove before flight things you see. You see those little red banners that say remove before flight. And I start pulling a lot of those. Okay. But generally speaking, the pilot, because what he's doing is he's like, I dealt with stealth. So he was, most of the ordinances we loaded and bombed and used were laser guided bombs at that time.
Gotcha.
This was 90s and early 2000s. When I got out in 2000, they were fixing the stealth aircraft to upgrading them to be able to load what we call a JDAM, which is a bomb that is not guided by laser, it's guided by satellite.
Okay. Nowadays, they're all, we just lock into Bluetooth connections?
No, they use a combination thereof, satellite and laser. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. Laser guided is actually a little more accurate.
I feel like it would be.
Well, and I say accurate.
As
like
the crow flies.
As a laser guided, they're both pretty accurate. A laser guided bomb generally will paint will put that thing with. I mean, it does it much closer, but the statistics say within 5 feet.
Okay.
It's better than that. You tell it to put. I want that bomb to go through the 5th floor, second window to the left, and they'll do that. That's what they'll do. Satellite guided. Your JDAMs have about a 12 feet. That's their big difference, though. Laser guided bombs are only effective in clear days,
right?
Because the lasers can't penetrate the cloud cover. And generally the aircraft paints its own target. And by painting, and what I mean is it points the laser at the target. The bomb follows the path of the laser down to the target. That's
and if you ever
it works.
shine like a laser through like water or any kind of condensation, you know that it bends the laser and it can cause errors.
Exactly. Whereas satellite, the clouds and stuff, that's not an issue. It sees right through that.
Sure.
When the stealth fighter got shot down in '99 there in Kosovo and all that, it got shot down because of various factors. It was a bad, cloudy night. The stealth was flying low, below, and they saw it, visually, physically saw it. And if you can see something, you can hit it.
Right.
And so it pickled off its bombs, and it got visual on it, and they shot it down because he was flying too low. And not his fault. That's how he had to fight it.
Because of the clouds.
The cloud cover in the orbit.
Sure.
They probably shouldn't have flown that mission that night. It's probably what happened. That's another story for another day. But anyway, I don't know how I got way into that, but that's kind of...
Didos. It all started with didos. And I realized about halfway through that, I'm like, oh no, I've cracked open the door. I've just opened the door, and Michael's just going to go. He's just going to ride this wave until the news starts playing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just because I've seen and I know exactly how this stuff goes down.
You've been in that life, so in the lifestyle. So you have those stories.
I know how this these worlds go down.
And it's one of those things. It's like where somebody, like when you hear like people out in the wild just start talking about, like in my case, pro wrestling. It's like, oh, I've got knowledge now. I'm gonna sound smart for a minute.
And the part that was, I ain't gonna lie, this was kind of cool. Like we would our missions when we were bombing Belgrade and all that in '99 here. We were flying flights out of Aviano, Italy, which is northern Italy.
Okay.
Total mission time for those 117s out of Aviano to Belgrade and back was about 3 hours. About a 3-hour mission. They'd go up, hit a tanker. They do their flight path. They go to their assigned targets. Then hit tankers, head back. You know, AWACS telling everybody where to go. AWAC is, if you don't know what an AWAC is, it's an airplane. You ever seen an airplane with that big disc-looking thing on top? It is that plane. Think of it as the air traffic controller in the sky.
In the sky.
When there's a war theater going on and you got a couple hundred aircraft lighting up everybody, they're up there saying friendly, not friendly. Friendly, not friendly.
If you've ever played Command and Conquer, that's essentially, you're that guy who's dragging the mouse over the troops and saying, you go there, you go over here.
Yeah, they're the ones kind of directing traffic.
They're the patent in the sky.
Yeah. And so the AWACS are coordinating all that. But yeah, it was about a 3-hour mission to and fro. And of course, we were 117s. We did all our work at night. Our first missions would go up about midnight. Then we'd have another one go up about 3 a.m. Until towards the end there when we ran out of stuff to bomb. Then they were doing one a night. But you were like, I know for a fact one of the bombs I loaded was used to take out one of Milosevic's bunkers filled with his scientists.
Oh, yeah?
So we loaded a couple GBU-27s, which they call the Bunker Buster. And it's designed to penetrate underground and go boom. And that's what it did.
And get stuff done.
But anyway, I was seeing the Russian stuff, and so I'm seeing some of that. But I'm not going to lie, it's not as like they're being more surgical.
You know what? You know what a big part of it is?
Yeah.
We don't really need night vision anymore. Technology and HD is advanced. Yeah, they do. But HD is advanced to where you could do a shot like this, at night and kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
In the 90s. When
with the green
when TV
and all
was there was something that just kind of added an element of like stress and anxiety about watching all this happen on like this green like lit screen. It kind of added like an element to it.
Yeah.
This is we're just watching TV. that kind of felt more like you were playing like Stealth Commander or something.
Yeah.
You were in the game.
Well, and also you're not seeing as much. I mean, you're hearing reports. Right. But you're not seeing the tracer fire and the anti-aircraft and all the stuff you saw during Gulf War I. I would argue what they're doing is every one of these buildings you're seeing on TV right now that got smoke and everything on, that was what every one of those buildings were related in some kind of either communications or any war-making capability they have. Whether and generally it's the playbook's the playbook. They go in when they go in, they do a bombing, aerial campaign bombing. The way the bombs are this day and age, it's all surgical strikes. It's not World War II where they carpet bomb a town. They'll go in and be like, oh, that's their communications building.
Hit him here, hit him here, hit him here.
And
let's go have lunch.
And then you go look at, like, say, the Middle East, and they were doing stuff like, oh, we're going to put our communications, we're going to go sit a Scud missile site. Oh, but we're going to put it right next to this church. We're going to put it right next to this school. We're going to put it right next to this hospital. And then when the Americans missed the shot, we're going to show that they blew up a hospital. Right. That's the move they were doing.
PR.
And so, and occasionally one of those bombs, I said, they're accurate within 5. Sometimes one goes squirrely. And that's what happens. But anyway, Judy Stubbs, running for city council, city councilor in Ward 3, running for re-election there. She's going to join us here in just a few and probably talk nothing about bombs. So you got that to look forward to. It is 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front working its way through eastern New Mexico today, so we'll stay fairly cool with our afternoon high in the upper 50s, sunshine and gusty wind around 30 miles an hour. Pretty cold overnight, dropping to near 20 under clear skies, and then we're looking at mid-50s and fair weather on Friday, warming up, and it stays sunny for the upcoming weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 24 degrees. We're in the 20s now. Enjoy that. 24 here in Roswell. Humidity is at 57%. Winds are out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour. Sunny today. Expect highs right around 50. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 10 this morning, picking up out of the northwest 15 to 20 later today. Tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 20 degrees. Winds will be out of the northwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, more the same. Partly cloudy, highs once again right around 50. North winds 5 to 10 in the morning, shifting to the south 15 to 20 for Friday afternoon. Partly cloudy Friday night with an overnight low of 24. Southeast winds 5 to 15. Then a little bit warmer for the weekend. Mostly sunny, mid-50s, 56 for a high on Saturday. East winds 5 to 10, and then we'll be in mid-60s and sunny on Sunday, 64 officially. And then it looks like next week we're going to see a warm-up. 70 on Monday, 73 on Tuesday, 77 Wednesday of next week. So I know we got a few days between now and then, and a lot changes in New Mexico weather, but it looks like we're going to have a nice warm week next week, but we'll see. They'll probably do something like add more wind or, that's what they do. All right, it is 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead and we're going to take here about a 4-minute break here. And then Judy Stubbs will join us here, City Councilor, Ward 3, running for re-election. She'll join us and we'll chit-chat all about her campaign and why she wants you to vote for her again. So that's coming up next. Don't go away.
Honey, did you see the story in the Roswell paper recently about how Dennis Kintai and the city council want to spend $61 million on new baseball fields?
Yep, talk about out-of-control spending.
Yeah, they say it's a field of dreams, more like field of debt.
Definitely. Kintai and the council don't have their priorities straight. Remember, they wanted to spend $35 million on a new public safety complex. Thank goodness over 80% of voters rejected that boondoggle.
And meanwhile, crime has gone up drastically over Kintai's last 4 years in charge.
Yeah, and Roswell's roads are a mess. Have you seen the sorry state that streets like North Garden are in? Potholes everywhere.
That's why we need Tim Jennings for mayor. Tim will control spending, hire more police officers, and fix our roads.
Let's send a message to City Hall that Roswell can't afford to spend $61 million on building new baseball fields. Vote Tim Jennings for mayor.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
Time to double up and save at Roswell Honda.
double your refund.
That's right. Roswell Honda wants to double up your tax refund, up to $4,000 towards your next vehicle. And with clearance prices across the lot, you can walk in, double up, and drive away today in a 2014 Yukon for just $379 a month, a 2014 Civic for just $249 a month, or a 2017 Escape for just $199 a month. Zero down, no payments for 4 months, free AirPods with a test drive, and double your refund.
Time to double up.
On now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Austin Industrial is currently seeking a janitorial staff position to work in the Holly Frontier Refinery. You will be responsible for cleaning and sanitizing offices, meeting rooms, bathrooms, kitchen and dining room, and public areas. No minimum education requirements are needed, no experience is required, and pay is $13.50 an hour for this full-time 40-hour-a-week position. Apply at austin-ind.com or call Miss Cookie Look at 832-657-3385. Austin Industrial is an equal employment opportunity employer.
Members of Central Valley Electric Cooperative are invited to attend the 2022 annual meeting to be held Saturday, March 19th at the Estelle Yates High School Auditorium in Artesia, New Mexico. Come meet your fellow co-op members, hear about the status of your electric co-op and what is planned for the future. There will be door prizes and a nice gift. Plus, the first 200 members to register will each receive a $50 gift card. Limit 1 card per membership. Registration begins at 9 a.m. The annual meeting begins at 10 a.m. Mark your calendar and please attend the Central Valley Electric Co-op annual meeting March 19th in Artesia, New Mexico. We look forward to seeing you there.
Have you ever wondered how prayer works? If you answered yes, you are most likely like the rest of us. Prayer certainly is not to inform God, the God of the universe, about personal matters in your life. After all, He already knows what's going on. He made you. You don't have to pray to gain God's acceptance either. He loves you, and we know this because Jesus died for you. So why do we pray? For starters, the Father wants to hear from His children. In my family, I often know what's going on with my children, but I love to hear their voices in my ears. Have you ever been stressed over life or anxiety that no person can help with? Well, prayer is good for that as well. There was a guy named Paul who wrote to a church telling them not to be anxious about anything but to pray. He told them that the peace that they could not understand would guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So whatever's going on, whatever's happening, just pray. Give it a try.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Does it ever feel like your doctor isn't listening? Like all they have to offer are pills? You deserve a healthcare provider that listens to you, one that listens to your concerns and works hard to find solutions. Roswell Medical Clinic focuses on functional medicine, working with you to find the root cause of the problem and a solution that works for you, so you can feel better and live happier. Because you deserve it. Trust the providers that listen. Roswell Medical Clinic, 111 West Hobbs in Roswell, or call 623-3311.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 7% of American adults, roughly 16.4 million Americans, believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. We don't know if they asked them where strawberry milk comes from. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, City Councilor, Ward 3, running for re-election.
Correct.
Judy Stubbs back with us. Good morning, Judy.
Gosh, it's good to see you, Mike.
Good to
morning.
see you again, and welcome. How's life treating you? How's
life is good.
Healthy, happy, family doing well, everybody's good?
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Well, I'm going to start off like I try to, if I remember, every time, and thank you for what you're doing. Thank you. I know, obviously, you've served as city councilor for a while, and done various other things around our community as well too, and I appreciate that.
Thank
you. Win, lose, draw, agree. I mean, this is every single person that's stepping up to be a city councilor or mayor or judge or any of the elected positions here. They're doing it because they care about their community, want to do the bad things, good things for it. And even though we may not all agree on how to get there, I think we all want that, and I appreciate that. So thank you.
Yes,
for
that's
doing
good.
This.
I agree with you 100%, and thank you for saying so. I appreciate that. Public policy is my passion. I love it. I mean, that's me. And I grew up with a real sense of giving back to my community. So the professional work I've done in this community, and now, of course, the council, has been all in public service and trying to make my community better. And so I'm really proud of the fact that I have spent a great deal of time learning as I've been doing.
Sure.
And that's really important to me. I have a lot of experience, obviously. I have contacts.
Sure.
I have friends and I feel like the networking and the learning and the talking things over is most important.
Sure.
That's a big part of me.
And that's something that and I like to point out here is, and this is probably where, in your experience, excels here because of your time served here and just the things you've done in our community. Now as serving for city council and things, is the job, have you learned that the job is as much dealing with personalities and dealing with just where people are thinking as much as dealing with policy and budgets and the semantic stuff that we talk about?
It's probably a lot of explaining policy and procedure and laws that have been put into place. And I love doing that.
Yeah.
And it takes all types of personalities. It takes all of us to make things what they are and to improve things and to make a good community.
Sure.
And I'm not a person that sits in a cubicle and decides how the world's going to run.
Sure.
It's very important to me to have conversation and to listen to people and to understand other philosophies.
Sure.
I learn so much from just visiting with people and their concerns.
Sure.
And it helps me form what I believe is the best decision to make. And I can't do that, like I say, on my own. I need the conversation. So when people call me asking questions or concerned about things, that makes me feel really good because we can talk about it. And like I say, I can learn and I can also disseminate good information.
Well, and it also helps in your decision-making process because, let's face it, there's a lot of decisions you make as a city councilor that, they're good ideas and they're things that you want, but do the logistics work? Do the numbers match? Is the juice worth the squeeze here? Are the amount of money we're spending, does it benefit enough of our community to be worth that? And that's where the decision making and that's where the semantics get in here. But
Definitely.
But I would imagine talking to people and getting all sides of the story allows you to make that decision more educated and say, okay, I would love to have X here as well, but the numbers don't match. The need isn't what we thought it was. That's where you learn that kind of stuff. So, I imagine is that the biggest asset to being able to talk to people and things like that?
It certainly is a great asset, yes. Yeah. And it's important, I think, for all of us that sit in any elected position is to get the input from the public that we're serving. You can't, I certainly can't just make decisions without talking to people. And very often I've called together a group of people that maybe have concerns or interest in whatever the topic is, or I certainly receive phone calls and I make phone calls to find out. And, at the coffee shop or having lunch is a great way to find out what people are thinking and the direction I should take.
Yeah, trust me, as a guy in radio, the more conversations I have with people just talking, I learn more information about that than sometimes anything I get asking questions here in the studio.
I'm sure that's true too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. I do want to ask this because I know I've been talking to a lot of the city councilors. Like, do you have unique issues in Ward 3? You have experience sitting in this chair and doing this for a while. I think, are there unique problems to wards, or is all problems universal here in Roswell? And if so, what's some of the if there is unique problems, what's some of those to the Ward 3?
Do you know that's an interesting question because as I'm sure everyone has told you that is running for office, is not here just to serve my ward. I'm here to serve the whole community.
Sure.
Okay. That's very true.
Sure.
But yes, the wards are unique and have their own concerns. I was actually speaking to somebody last night who lives in a different ward and said, we don't have a good park ward.
Okay.
And I really got to thinking about that, and then I went back and looked at the map, and sure enough,
they're right.
So so that's really interesting. Ward 3 is a very interesting ward. It serves the west. We would serve the west side of town, pretty much from 2nd Street North.
Okay.
And I have a little bit below 2nd Street. I lost some of that, some good people.
There was
when we redistrict.
Ward 2 and 3 were really the only ones that were majorly impacted in this.
Yes.
And it was this one area where. And it is confusing. I'm not gonna lie. You go.
It is.
You drive down this part of town, and I live near it, so I know. And
Okay.
I'm just in the Ward 2 side, not the Ward 3 side. But I drive through it, and you go one street, you see Ward 2 signs. You go the next street over, Ward 3. Then the next street over, you're back to Ward 2 side. So yeah, there's a little muddy in that area.
There is, and so I've actually gained 3 new precincts in that northern part of the city, and so it'll be interesting and fun for me to get some of their perspectives and to understand the different needs and positions on things and philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think in general, people are concerned about the same issues in the large
overall
perspective of things. Yes. Several years ago, the city did a survey of folks, and the major thing they were concerned about were roads.
Mm-hmm.
And I still hear that, and I think it's really important. And just for the record, this budget, we provided more money for roads, for city roads, than I think ever has happened.
Sure.
And so we're working on that. The problem is, of course, is COVID happened.
That's where I was wondering. Like I was going to go in that direction. It's
Sure.
like I'm sure the delays aren't completely something that you can control as a council. Yeah,
exactly. It's very difficult, and so we do have that money, and I'm sure that if we don't spend it in this fiscal year, which we're already looking, of course, at the next fiscal budget, but that it'll carry over and be there because timing is everything when you do these things. So
absolutely,
it's interesting.
Can we talk just a bit about the COVID side and get your perspective as how that impacted the city here? I know the mayor, city council, you guys made a lot of decisions and doing a lot of things to keep the ship afloat over these couple of years here.
Yes.
But how does we know it as a personal but really how did that impact things because I'm sure you had a slate of streets, there was the schedule of things done. I'm sure all that goes out the window once this all hit.
Well, it doesn't necessarily all go out the window. You look at it differently.
Gotcha.
I think we were able to say, well, we don't need to do this right away. We can hold off on it and that sort of thing. But let me tell you something that's very interesting, and I'm just really proud of this city. And that is, I do a lot of work on the state level as well, which I think helps keep Roswell's name out there and gives me information of how other communities are doing things. But when COVID hit and everyone was looking at their budget, what are we going to do? And we obviously cut our budget as well, like everyone else. But gross receipts were up every single month from what we budgeted.
Which was surprising.
Surprising.
A good surprise.
And that just tells me that people still have faith in their community. They're still shopping locally. They still care about the city. And so it was really quite a relief. And we would just, say, wow, every month when we'd get the information in. And so COVID affected us, of course. At the city level, of course, we offered furlough, or we implemented furloughs that we never had to use, thanks to this community and the people that are shopping here locally. So that was wonderful, and like I say, it was much easier. The thing where we were really hit was lodger's tax. And lodger's tax is paying for the bonds on the convention center.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of a...
And if no one's staying in hotels, then there's no lodger's tax coming in. So, yeah.
So we were able to shift some of the lodger's tax that we were getting into paying for the convention center because we were not having events that required the use of the lodger's
So that was a
tax.
bit of a
So
blessing in disguise there a little bit.
I guess so.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Right. That's it. But there were certain things we had to do.
Yeah.
Every day, I think we're sensing that things are getting better as far as COVID's concerned. My biggest concern right now, when I'm asked what are your concerns for the city, one of them is inflation. And I don't know that we're really talking about. I think as we get into this budget process, we will, because everyone in this country is pretty well going to be affected by what's happening, things we are not in control of.
Especially when you're talking growth, because anything that requires growth requires an addition of infrastructure, material, whatever it is. And like you said, the way of the world we live in right now, inflation's high, and a building that 5 years ago would have cost $1 million to build is going to cost $5 million to build right now.
If you can get the material.
If you can get the material.
That's still an issue, a huge issue.
Yeah.
For us.
And I imagine, and that's the struggle that you guys are having to deal with and I imagine that's do you anticipate it getting worse before it gets better right now, or do you think we're at the worst?
Do you know?
You're reading the tea leaves like everybody else here. You know?
I am, but I'm watching the stock market, and I'm looking at some of those things and what's happening nationally. I mean, what's just happened in the last 24 hours is actually going to have a rippling effect down to our level. So it's really hard to say. I just know that we will be cautious in our budgeting and taking care of the needs first.
Let's talk good stuff on the other side here. Let's talk let's crowning achievement. Like, what is your time serving on city council here? Is there a certain piece of legislation or a certain event or certain thing that you're a part of that you're saying, that I'm most proud of that. That's something I'm so glad to be a part of. Is there anything you could point your finger at that you really after that meeting you're like, man, I'm so glad we got that done. That was important.
Well, yeah, I can mention a few things. I think first of all, I have to say probably the biggest thing that's noticeable to this community is it's been a while, but I led the committee. It took us 3 years to get the All-America City Award or determination. So we've been using that ever since. And once you're an All-America City, you're always
it's like a president. Once you got elected president, they call you
you're
president
always
for life.
President.
Yes.
That's right. That's exactly right. So that took a lot of great people working. And like I say, we were in the finals for 3 years, finally actually made it that third year. So I learned so much about this community and networked with so many people. So that, not in my city council role, although it fit in so well with it, is I'm the one that started the after school program in the elementary schools many years ago, and it's still going today. And that is, I think, one of my
crowning achievement. Something you look back on and say, I'm happy.
It really is. I'm proud. I'm proud that I did it. I'm glad that I did it. The fact that it's still going and obviously still needed, it warms my heart that is still going on.
Sure.
I sort of think I'm sometimes the voice of reason. I try to bring a positive perspective to things. I do my homework. I think I'm known for really digging deep into things, and I'm kind of the wordsmither of the council, which may or may I'm not sure if it's a curse or
Sure, but I get what you're saying. You're like, regardless of when tempers flare and stuff, you try to be that the voice of reason, the quiet, the calm in the storm, the even keel person. That
exactly.
All right, before this gets out of hand, let's bring it back in a little bit. Yeah, I get what you're
appreciate that. And because I do my homework and because I look into a lot of things, I can understand why or why not government can or cannot do what people would like us to do. And one of them, of course, is the budget. I look at approving a budget every year is the main thing that we do. We set policy. The governing body sets policy. We don't do the day-to-day work of hiring or firing or digging ditches or what, but we set policy. And I believe the budget is the greatest policy that we set. It sets, the mode. It tells us what we're going to do. And actually, by state statute, that's the only thing they say a council has to do.
That's the financial Bible for the community.
It is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's good. And so that's the guide. But we make budget adjustments, which happens almost every month. And I think that's kind of the difference between governmental accounting and budgeting and private work, is that we have to account for everything. And when we move things around, there has to be a plus and a minus because it always has to be balanced. Just again, city stat or municipal state statute says we have to balance our budget.
It's do as I say, not as I do, but
exactly.
It is what it is.
So, and where we can move money and where we can't. So we're obviously mostly dependent on gross receipts tax.
Sure.
Like almost every municipality in the state, our gross receipts tax pays for about 75% of our services. So again, it's just great that we've been able to fund the necessary things and not really cut
times
things
were
out.
hard, but we were able to. It wasn't as bad as we thought, and we prepared for the worst and we didn't get the worst.
And that's so much fun when that happens. That's really a great feeling.
Absolutely.
Another thing that's really uncommon, I think, for municipalities in New Mexico, especially right now, is, first of all, again, we are required by law to hold 1/12 of our money in reserve.
Yes.
For a rainy day type thing.
Your emergency fund.
Exactly.
Yes.
We were able this last budgeting cycle to raise that to 3/12.
Gotcha. So we're 30% higher than what, or 20% higher, I guess.
I don't know.
Put it this way: we got 2 times more than we're required to have in there. There's a reason I'm
3
in radio.
times. Yeah,
I don't do math.
Oh well,
we required this amount. We got 3 times that amount in there right now. That's what it is.
That's what it is. And I think it's really incredible that we're able to do that. So we do have money in reserves again in case.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit. So we mentioned Santa Fe here a little bit. I'm just curious and this may be nothing or not, but obviously what the state's done with congressional districts and things, and Chavez County is now basically we have a representative. All 3 representatives have territory in Chavez County. As a city, does that impact anything on the city council? I mean, as far as who comes to visit you guys, or even what gets presented to you? I mean, do you anticipate some unique things coming your way because of this alignment now?
There probably will be unique things happen. I'm not sure how it's going to work. It's a little hard, and this is a very personal opinion, not coming from a city councilor.
Sure.
But I think it's going to be very difficult for the representative that is serving most of this community now to represent Roswell and the Navajo Nation at the same time.
Gotcha. Different needs.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I'm concerned about that. How it's going to affect us at the city level is, we get money from the federal government as well. And so with the diverse area that is now created, I hope that Roswell kind of rises.
So that could be a good
to
thing.
The top.
Like things that maybe we weren't put on the radar for might put us on the radar, because now we got, in essence, 3 representatives kind of looking out for this area.
Well, we lost our second congressional district.
Yes.
Is now just the Boot Hill at Travis County.
And
it's nothing here in Roswell.
That was our representative for all of us at that point. Yeah.
Yes, and the difference in how it's going to shake out is a concern to me. But wait and see, I guess. So it'll be interesting because, like I say, it's always good at the city level, like every other level, to know who your representatives are. And now we have, like you say, 3.
Yeah. And I would also, maybe this is a positive, I don't know, but when it comes to bending ears, of people that can help us in D.C., now, in essence, you got 3 numbers on the Rolodex instead of 1. So
that's it.
In theory, that should help.
That's it. One would think.
Yeah.
But then it could also be spreading the wealth out a little too much, too. It
Where
could
Peter's
go either
robbing
way.
Paul or fighting with Paul here,
Could happen.
and we're stuck in the middle. Yeah,
Could happen.
That could also happen. Yeah, I was just curious, because your experience here, I was like, what, because this is something this next city council is going to have to deal with here, and I didn't know if you kind of thought, well, is it going to be business as usual, or this could put some wrinkles in what we do here the next.
Well, I think more than anything, it's going to take all of us to educate our new representatives on what Roswell is and what the needs are and where we fit into all of this, and that we're important.
Sure, absolutely.
So time will tell on that, I would guess.
We're running short on time, but I want to give an opportunity for you to anything we just didn't get the chance to talk about or skipped or I got on a tangent, which happens.
We're all guilty. We're all guilty.
Some more than others. but is there anything you wanted to make sure that you got out there that we just didn't get a chance to cover?
Do you know, you did ask a question earlier, and I really didn't answer it, and that is specific to Ward 3. And I answer the needs of the community, and I appreciate them calling and letting me know. But I believe I've never been a candidate that had an agenda.
Gotcha.
And I
Other
still
than
don't.
doing the best for the
Just
people.
Better government. You're absolutely right. Doing the best for the people, listening and researching. And I think those are some of the important things I do. I attend either via the internet or in person almost every single committee meeting that the city has.
And there's a lot, by the way.
And there are a lot. And I'm able to do that, and I'm thankful for that. But again, I'm gathering information, and I'm expressing opinions too, and again, it helps me learn what's going on. So I have the ability, and I'm able to go to a lot of those meetings, and I think that I have the ability and through the years have learned people in different positions.
Gotcha.
So I can call the local government's division director in Department of Finance and Authority, and we're on a first name basis.
Gotcha.
So I just think I bring some of that to the council.
You have those
that
relationships.
Really helps, because I've been building them over the years.
And that kind of goes back to where we started at the beginning here. It's like the job is as much personalities, relationships, working with people as it is dictating policy and dictating what numbers and things like that.
Very
too.
true.
Very
true.
Because if you have the relationships, the other side gets a little easier. Because then people, especially if you're trying to massage or do something that involves a lot of different moving parts, the relationships make that happen.
It's not just the relationship, it's the respect of each other.
Sure.
Which is huge in my book.
Yeah.
And I have been able over the years, like I say, to build those kinds of relationships. So the chair of the legal committee and myself as chair. I'm sorry, I am the chair of the legal committee. That's me.
That's me. I'm in charge.
I chair the legal committee, and then the chair of the finance committee and myself and staff went to Santa Fe a few weeks ago and were able to get in and visit with our legislators and with the governor. And there's nothing to me that's more effective than to be able to sit down eyeball to eyeball and talk to people.
Absolutely.
So I'm pleased that I'm able to do that, like I say, as well with many people in other government positions.
Sure. Even if you don't agree with them necessarily.
You don't have to always agree.
And
you
probably don't always. So that's the thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you have to learn, and you have to, like you said earlier, look past maybe how we're going to get there at the onset point.
Sure.
But think about what the end result is. And usually I'm good at consensus building. And I know I'm not always right. I'm certainly not always right. And I love to learn things.
Sure.
I still love to learn.
Sure.
So building a consensus, being positive, having that drive to do public policy, I think are my main.
That's your mantra.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
If anybody has questions, wants to, I know, of course, as city councilor, you can find her email and phone number, contact at the city website.
Yes, certainly.
Is there any campaign stuff that you can point people to if they want some questions or information?
Do you know, maybe I'm old school, but I still prefer to get phone calls or texts.
Gotcha.
I really do. It's more personal. It comes to me more quickly.
Gotcha.
And
you can stomp that fire out personally. Or if there's a fire.
Exactly. Well, and usually
assuming politics it is.
Well, yes, it is politics. So if I could give you my cell number, like I say, texts or phone calls are the best way.
Absolutely.
But my number is 575-626-0207.
Very good. And if anybody has questions, wants to help out in any way, shape, or form, or if you're a resident of Ward 3 and you've got a city issue that you'd like to talk to your city councilor about, she's there for that too.
Thank you.
Not election related, just, hey, my
Yeah.
street light's out or whatever's going on there.
That's it. Yes.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Judy. Appreciate
Thank you.
the visit.
I appreciate this opportunity.
And anytime we'd love to have you in. And I always have open invites for all of our city councilors. They want to come in and feel the need.
Thank you.
Love to have you guys share whatever. I know we have the mayor on every month, but the mayor doesn't always speak for every city councilor.
It's true. That's true. No, I probably should be doing that. I really should.
Well, we'd love to have you.
appreciate the opportunity. Thank you
Anytime.
very much.
Well, thank you. Stay warm today. And And I'm sure, like everyone else, you'll be very glad when Wednesday rolls in.
That is that is true.
Have a great weekend. Thank you
You do
very
the
much,
same.
Judy, and thank you for your service to our community.
I appreciate
we do
that
appreciate
too. Thank you.
All right, it is 9:51. Let us do this. Let's play a quick local news. I think I even got time to give you some Hannity and, of course, those fine commercials that pay for my lunch. So we're going to do that, and then we'll be back. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update. I'm Jared Cirillo. We begin today on the crime beat in Roswell as police investigate an attempted armed robbery. We're told it took place at the Family Dollar store at 909 East 2nd Street. Police said the robber gave a clerk a note that said he would shoot if he was not given any money. It is not known if the suspect got any money, but he did flee the store and has not been captured. No gunshots were fired. Nobody was injured. But if you know anything, you should call Roswell Police. The Carlsbad Public Library has received a $10,000 grant to support preserving the city's history for future generations. Carlsbad Public Library was one of 200 libraries across the country that received money from the Humanities Grants for Libraries program, which is part of the American Library Association. Sarah Jones, the director of the Carlsbad Public Library, said the money will be used to create videos of historic places and sites in Carlsbad. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have cold front working its way through eastern New Mexico today, so we'll stay fairly cool with our afternoon high in the upper 50s, sunshine and gusty wind around 30 miles an hour. Pretty cold overnight, dropping to near 20 under clear skies, and then we're looking at mid-50s and fair weather on Friday, warming up, and it stays sunny for the upcoming weekend. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Goddard High's the place to be tonight. In my opinion, you got two games and against two different schools. The girls-boys doubleheader starts with the Goddard girls playing at 5:30 against Artesia. This is the second versus third seed. Goddard's the second seed. The winner of this will go on to play at Portales for the district championship. And meanwhile, the Goddard boys will wait in the wings. They'll play at 7 against Lovington. Lovington, this is a good game. 19-7 overall is Lovington's mark. Goddard is 15-12. Now remember, Lovington was part of that three-way tie, but didn't get a chance to break the tie on Monday. Artesia broke the tie by defeating Goddard. So that starts at 7 tonight. The winner plays at Artesia. Hagerman against Tucumcari girls hoops. That's tonight at 6. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Stocks are plunging, oil prices soaring in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Newspaper giant Gannett lost $22.4 million in its fourth quarter.
On a per-share basis, the McLean, Virginia-based company said it had a loss of 17 cents. Earnings, adjusted to extinguish debt and for pre-tax expenses, were 32 cents per share. The newspaper company posted revenue of $826.5 million in the period. For the year, Gannett has reported that its loss narrowed to $135 million. Revenue was reported at $3.21 billion.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. The government reports that the U.S. economy ended 2021 by expanding, growing at a brisk 7% annual pace, October through December. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
It's a new year, and the progressives in Santa Fe are trying to get their claws into Roswell. Governor Grinch has her best buddy in Roswell running for mayor. In Roswell, we are proud of our families, our industry, our traditions, and our values. We can't let the Santa Fe gang take over our community. In the Roswell municipal election on March 1st, vote to keep Roswell open, to keep Roswell independent, and to keep Roswell free. Let's keep Kintai as our mayor.
This is Dennis Kintai, and I approve of this ad.
Fall in love and save this month at Roswell Nissan. Sweet deals across the lot so your wallet can feel the love. Get a 2015 Chrysler 200 for only $195 a month, a 2017 Versa for only $185 a month, or a 2012 Chevy Sonic for only $135 a month. Zero down, no payments for 90 days, and $2,000 guaranteed on your trade. So drag it in. Plus, stop by for a box of sweets and spin the wheel. Get a box of chocolates with a test drive and a $30 Pasta Cafe gift card with purchase. Fall in love at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Ed Heldenbrand, candidate for City Council. He's a patriot fighting against the waste of your tax dollars. As a CPA and Chief Financial Officer with over 35 years of experience, Ed understands the importance of managing budgets. By reducing the wasteful spending in the budget, we can lower your city water, sanitation costs, and work to reduce city fees. Roswell's potential is hurt by bad ideas and wasteful spending. Ed Hildebrand will never vote to shut down Roswell. He'll fight the job, education, and freedom-killing mandates from Santa Fe. It's important that taxpayers see improvements in our roads and city services to attract jobs, businesses, tourists, and to create an environment for local businesses to thrive. In Ward 3, you have a choice. Vote Ed Hildebrand, the conservative candidate. With your vote, we can build a better Roswell.
I'm Ed Hildebrand, City Council candidate for Ward 3, asking for your vote on Tuesday, March 1st. It's not about me, it's about we, and I approve this message.
Hey, this is Dr. Keon Agger at Carabelli Dental in Roswell. Our office is passionate about creating beautiful, long-lasting smiles. But here's the thing. Sometimes that means dentures, and that's not a bad thing. These aren't your grandma's dentures. We combine artistry and the latest technology to create beautiful, natural-looking teeth. If you are in southeastern New Mexico and you have dentures or are considering dentures, you need to come visit us at Carabelli Dental.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental or call 622-4455.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com. Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
Time to double up and save at Roswell Honda.
Double your refund.
That's right. Roswell Honda wants to double up your tax refund up to $4,000 towards your next vehicle. And with clearance prices across the lot, you can walk in, double up, and drive away today in a 2014 Yukon for just $379 a month, a 2014 Civic for just $249 a month, or a 2017 Escape for just $199 a month. Zero down, no payments for 4 months, free AirPods with a test drive, and double your refund.
Time to double up.
On now at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. During your lifetime, you'll produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. Spit out this bit of information at your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 9:59. Got about a minute left here before we wrap up today's show. If you missed any part of our show today, I invite you to go back and check out at your leisure, ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. You'll find all of our videos, and there's a plethora, a cornucopia, if you will. But we've got today's interviews that will be separated here in just a little bit. We had City Council candidate representing Ward 2, Juliana Halverson, join us in the 7 o'clock hour. We had Daryl Johnson join us. He's City Council candidate running in Ward 4, join us in the 8 o'clock hour. And then, of course, we just had Judy Stubbs, City Councilor in Ward 3, join us this hour. Again, find all three of those interviews, ksvptv.com, in the Mornings with Mike Winters channel, or our 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM Facebook wall, too. Find our sports, you'll find everything there. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of your day. Have an awesome day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hugh Hewitt is now in Roswell.